Friendly reminder, if you're buying or excels from DVD, use my code in the support content creator section of the game. You could use either code TOFU or OhTofu to chip me a little bit of money with your purchase. Also, another reminder that I'm live every night other than Saturday from 6 p.m. to midnight EST over at twitch.tv/OhTofu. So if you're wanting even more tofu content, stop by and say hello. Hi, YouTube. This is a tier list video, okay, that we're doing live. The criteria here, the full criteria here, is everything I just typed, which is assuming survivors are playing 100% correctly and know what they're doing and are good at the game, right? Like they know how to loop, they know how to play against killer powers, they know what they're doing, right? It's also going to be assuming that the killers are running a variety of their best add-ons, right? Like not always the very best. We're not going to assume like double Eries on plague every single game, but we're going to assume that like sometimes they will and sometimes they just have other like pretty good add-ons, right? It's just a variety of the best add-ons. And also a sample size of like, we're going to assume like a sample size of like 100 games in terms of like maps. So it's like a variety of all maps. Like we're not going to assume that like you're only playing on good maps and only playing on bad maps. Like we're going to just assume every map and in terms of how it plays too. And also I want to preface this real quick just by saying, before you guys freak out about the placements of some people, the number one most thing that's important about every single killer is their ability to kill people. Okay. So I'm going to place a lot. There's a lot of killers that I'm probably going to place in lower tier than people probably are going to think that they belong in. And a big reason is because a lot of killers, even if they have a lot of mobility or control or whatever the fuck, if they can't actually kill people well, then they're bad. They're bad killers. So that's a big part of this too, right? Like lethality is probably the most important thing out of every single killer. So keep that in mind when I'm putting people in tiers. Okay, Trapper is D tier. He's unfortunately still not that good. It's very easy for good Survivor players to play aggressively on his traps, right? Like if a Survivor player like follows the Trapper around and just like disarms every single trap he places, then his power just becomes kind of useless, right? Like obviously he has eerie add-ons to help with that a little bit, but even with the eerie add-ons, you can still like harass the traps, and also especially if they're in comms, they can like call out where they are so people can just kind of avoid going there. And at the end of the day, like without the traps, he's just literally guy with machete. He's just not that good. Like he's very, very D tier, unfortunately, and he's probably not going to be leaving there for a while. I don't even know how to make him not D tier. He's just kind of a bad killer, unfortunately. Not really much else to say about him. Wraith is, I think, very solidly in B tier. Wraith is like a very solid killer. Wraith is one of those weird killers I think is underrated because I think a lot of people don't actually play Wraith to his highest potential very often. Like Wraith's like stealth, like mobility mixed with body blocking, mixed with like being able to claim space and then also uncloak and use the speed boost out of cloak. There's actually a lot of like mind game potential, and there's a lot of interesting things you can do with that. And a lot of people do not play Wraith to his highest potential. And if you're a good Wraith, you can just stomp people. That being said, if you're really, really comfortable with the counterplay to Wraith too, then he's not super insane. He's actually like a very skill expressive killer that I think a lot of people don't realize, but he is very good though. He's like B tier. He's definitely the kind of killer where like if you let him snowball, like if you let him get ahead, it's going to be really hard to come back, right? Like high mobility, stealth. He can like stealth around, find you guys healing, interrupt it, get downs. Like he's one of those killers that you got to really be careful about letting him get to a lead, because if you let him get to a lead, it can be really hard to come back. But if you play really safe and careful and you just don't let him get ahead, right? Like if you just play your chases super safe and don't fuck up, then he really should not get a whole lot going. So probably like about B tier. Billy's up next. I think Billy is still pretty safe to go in like the bottom of S tier. Like he's barely S tier, I think, but I am going to put him in S tier. Billy's nuts. I mean, he has like the best mobility in the game, right? Like I think he's probably literally the best mobility in the game. Like I think he's the only killer in the game that can like easily just zip from one side of the map back to the other side, back to the other side. Like his mobility power never goes on cooldown, right? Like every other killer that can cross the map entirely at least has some kind of cooldown on their power. Billy doesn't. Like he literally just spam his chainsaw all day. It's crazy. That being said, he also has the one shot down. He also has a lot of like zoning potential with his saw too. I think he's just overall really good. I feel like he's just kind of nuts. I mean, I do feel like he's one of those kind of explosive killers where I think he either pops off and snowballs really hard, and then it's like insane and there's not much you can do about it. But I think he's another one of those killers where I think if you like don't win 50-50s, like if you kind of like go for like chainsaw mind games, if you go for curves or certain chainsaw mind games that don't work and you do that too much, then sometimes you find yourself falling so far behind that you can't really do anything about it and the survivors just end up winning. So it's almost like I almost want to put him not in S tier, but I feel like all it really takes is like winning some of those 50s. Like if you just win a couple 50s with Billy, like especially early on, you can get way ahead, and then it's just like impossible for the survivors to do anything. So I think he's S tier. And speaking of S tier, Nurse is up next. Nurse is, I mean, a lot of people consider Nurse to be the best killer in the game. Pretty justifiably so. I mean, she ignores basically all game mechanics of the game, right? She just blinks through everything. One thing about Nurse that I think people don't say enough, though, is that Nurse actually does have a weakness. She's not very mobile. Like, she really isn't that mobile at all. Like, obviously, she can blink through solid walls, so, like, you know, in like a straight line, like through like the center of the map, like she might beat like a killer like Trapper mobility because she can like go through objects or whatever. But if you're going in a straight line with nothing and like without anything like physical in front of you, she actually goes slower than a killer like Trapper. She goes slower than a normal 4x6 killer, even with blinking. So her mobility is actually kind of bad. I wouldn't say it's bad, but it's not like good. It's like slightly above average, but it's still quite bad. So like Nurse basically fully relies on the fact that she can just kill people and chase instantly, which is also probably the most important thing in this whole game. Like, she is the killer that can, like, if you get spotted by a good nurse and she's like right on top of you, she is like the killer that can guarantee a kill on you the fastest out of like anyone in the whole game. There's pretty much no one that can do it guaranteed faster than her, right? It's insane. Like, if she's within a close range of you, you just die if she's good. So like, it's pretty crazy. Like, Nurse, she can be beaten if you play like insanely well, like strategically and positionally and everything, but it's like very, very difficult. And she is like very, very, obviously she's just very good. She just ends every chase instantly. There's not really much you can do about that, right? Like, you basically have to like stealth and not get found and like pressure the right gens at the right moments, and you gotta like play so perfectly to counter her, and even then it's like one mistake and she snowballs into a win. So she's just such a strong killer. I mean, she's been at the top of most tier lists since like the fucking beginning of DBD for a reason. So yeah, it's wild. She's very, very strong. She's very, very strong. So clearly S tier, she's up there. Myers after the rework is I hate to do this, man. I hate to do this, but I think he's still D tier, bro. Like, I think I'll put him above Trapper, but like just barely. He's pretty bad now, you know? Like, I don't, like, what do you do? It's such a shame too, because in the PTB they actually made his like dash attack, his like, what's it called, Slaughtering Strike or whatever, his Slaughtering Strike ability was actually not terrible in the PTB, because it like went on, it like they nerfed it from then. It like used to last a little longer, and I think you moved a little faster during it. So if the survivors gave you pallet control, which if you don't know what I mean by that, like if you're under the pallet as killer, you have pallet control, right? Like they're on the loop, which means you can try a mind game and they have to loop around to get to the pallet, right? Whereas if they're under the pallet, they have pallet control. But anyway, if you had pallet control, you can like go for like almost like a pig dash type of a mind game on them. But also, it was like a pig dash that would one-shot down you, so it was kind of crazy. And you also were able to fake it, kind of like pig too. It was actually like pretty solid, honestly. It was pretty good in the PTB. And then they nerfed it for some reason. I don't know why. Like, they completely changed the killer's kit. They nerfed the actual one-shot ability, and they just made like his normal 4.6 stronger, which I feel like is like, why? 4.6 killer is not that good. So yeah, he's kind of dookie now. I mean, I think even, to be fair, I think even in the PTB, I think he was just like C tier, but I think at least he was C tier. Now I think he's just still D tier. He's just not that good. Like, he doesn't really do much. Like, his one shot's not that strong. If anything, his one shot might be a little bit weaker than it was before, but like his normal 4.2, or sorry, his normal 4.6 chase is a little bit better. He also can dip back into stealth on demand now, which is kind of nice, right? Like, at any point, you can just you can push a button and go back into stealth, which is cool, and that helps him a little bit. But at the end of the day, really, really good striver players aren't going to be dying to stealth. And they're also not going to be dying to like a 4.6 killer with like a slight buff to like vaulting and kicking pallets. So like, yeah, with correct good striver play, yeah, he's just kind of still not that good. He's in D tier. I will put him above Trapper because at least he has a one shot down, and like he can like camp hooks kind of well, and he has like a little bit and like his stealth, like he has a little bit going for him more than Trapper at least, but he's still pretty dookie. Now, okay, Hag's a weird one. Hag is weird because Hag, realistically, against a good striver team, if they don't make any mistakes, she should be like down here, right? Like, she should be like the very, very bottom. But it's kind of weird because I feel like it's odd, because I do think that even a really good striver team, like there is no such thing as people that just never make any mistakes ever, right? Like mistakes happen sometimes. And like, I do feel like I should give her some credit and maybe put her in like C tier, because realistically, it shouldn't be that hard to like make no mistakes against her, right? But all it takes is like one bad fuck up, right? Like, if one person like goes down like near like basement or something, you know what I mean? Or even near like a really tight gen setup, and then the killer's able to like trap them in the gen setup with a bunch of traps everywhere. That becomes like a nightmare scenario to get out of, bro, especially if it's basement. Like, it becomes such a nightmare scenario to get out of. And I feel like the fact that she can snowball a game just from one mistake like that makes me feel like maybe she should go in C tier. It's just like, it shouldn't be that. I guess this boils down to like, how difficult is it to actually avoid making those mistakes, right? Like, can you realistically just never make a mistake against Hag? I think like, yes. That's kind of the problem. I think yes. Maybe on like indoor maps. I think on indoor maps it's a little bit harder, right? Like, if you're playing a map like Midwich or something, I think it's a lot harder to keep track of like where all of her traps are and stuff. You know what I mean? But even then, it's like as long as you just don't die basement, it should be relatively okay. You know, I don't think I can put her up here. I think I got to put her in D tier. I think I have to, actually. The more I'm thinking about it, the more I'm like, it is like one mistake can cost you the whole game, but I feel like it should be pretty easy to not make those mistakes. Like, I feel like it's just not, like, as long as you're like at least somewhat aware of where she's trapping, and as long as you're somewhat aware of where the gen setup she's holding and or basement is, and stay away from that, it should be fine. Because even getting hooked in a gen setup, if it's a good team, you should be able to get out of that, right? Like, being hooked in a gen setup should not mean GG. Getting hooked in basement is where it's like kind of sketch, right? Because that person's probably just dead. But if it's not basement, if it's just like a gen setup, you can get out of that, right? You could absolutely get out of that if you're a good team. So I feel like as long as you avoid basement, you're basically good. So I think, honestly, yeah, I think I'll put her at least top of D tier, just because there is some risk of playing against her, but she's definitely not that good, right? Maybe I should explain more about this, by the way. Shit, I forgot. Trapper, or sorry, Hag, she can't play chase at all, right? She's 4.4, so she can't really play chase at all. Like, her whole kit is relying on her setting traps everywhere and then you stepping in them. So a good team can basically just like run around, harass her traps, either disarm them or set them off and just harass her traps constantly. And as long as you don't let yourself go down, right? As long as you're full health, like, she doesn't have any kind of natural way to one shot down. So like, as long as you don't let yourself go down in like a bad spot, and as long as you like you make sure you heal up and are full health every time you go in to like attack like the generators or the unhook or whatever it is that she's protecting, then she realistically should never be able to actually one shot down you. So yeah, she, like, if you just play safe and smart against her, she really can't do anything, because she can't chase you because she's 4.4 and she's horrible in chase. And then if she can't kill you with her traps, then what's she do? She just sits around setting traps all day and then nothing happens. So yeah, she's definitely in the bottom. Again, you can put her anywhere in D tier, and I wouldn't really argue that much. I'm just gonna put her here because why not? I don't really care too much about the order of these killers down here, to be honest with you. It's fine. Doctor's up next. I think Doctor's C tier. He's an interesting killer because I feel like he actually has a lot going for him in terms of like tracking and stuff. Like, he obviously has like the pallet denial and like window denial of shocking, which is kind of good. Like, his anti-loop. His anti-loop is weird because his anti-loop is like good, but it like takes a long time. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like Doctor can get like near guaranteed hits a lot of the times, but it's like the guaranteed hits that you get take fucking forever, because you slow down as you shock, but then you like deny them a powder window, and you gain a little bit of distance every single time you shock, right? So sometimes you gotta sit there and shock a guy like 7, 8, 9 times before you actually close enough distance to get the hit. And it's like, god damn, bro. Like, sometimes it takes so long, especially if they have a lot of tiles all tied together, right? In a close proximity. But alongside that, though, he does have a lot of tracking potential, right? Like static blast, being able to reveal people around you. Also, just like the Doctor illusions popping up that like face the direction of whoever they pop up in front of is really good for tracking. He also has a kind of minor slowdown in terms of like making people snap out of it when they're in tier 3, which is kind of okay too, right? And like the weird skill checks should never really throw people off too much, but like maybe. So like, he's got like a lot of little things going for him, you know what I mean? Like, he's got a ton of like little things, but like at the end of the day, I think it all boils down to the fact that he just can't really, he shouldn't be getting downs that quickly against good players, right? Like, I think if survivors fuck up a lot, then sure. But if survivors are playing smart, then every down that comes through with Doctor should take like a decent amount of time. And no matter what, if you're taking a long time to get downs, you're pretty much never going to be a very top tier killer, right? Like, you can't really be above like C tier if every down you're getting is taking like a minute plus. You know what I mean? Like, you just can't. I just don't think you could ever be considered C tier in that way. And I feel like a Doctor against good survivors is kind of like that. Like, unless they fuck up badly, it should take like a minute plus. Like, so yeah, it's weird. Like, he's definitely above these killers because I think, again, like, if he gets ahead, like if the survivors do fuck up and they like get hit or whatever, if he gets ahead, he has a lot of tools to help him stay ahead, right? He can keep track of where survivors are. He can use that to kind of like help his decision making in terms of like knowing where people might be rotating or knowing what gens are being worked, so he knows where to pressure. Like, the rest of his kit helps him a lot once he gets ahead. It's just getting ahead is really hard because of how bad he is in chase, you know? So I think C tier. Huntress. What do I do with Huntress? Huntress is weird. She's so map dependent though. Like, there's some maps where she's like kind of dookie, and then there's other maps where she's kind of like pretty solid, honestly. She forces a lot of 50-50s. She's also really, really good at protecting hooks, but she's also like the least mobile killer in the game. This is a weird one. I think she like, already in my head, I know she's either like B or C tier. I just don't know where to put her. I got to think about this. Because like, realistically, I think she can, like, her potential is there, right? Like, you can, in theory, get it down really quickly, right? Because you do force a lot of like weird 50-50 scenarios with her, right? And if you happen to win the 50-50 scenarios earlier, like, she's definitely very snowbally. I think I got to put her in B tier. That might actually be a little unpopular. I think a lot of people would consider her C tier, but I think I got to put her in B. I think it's weird because I feel like a lot of the times she might just get shit on by good players. Like I think good players will make her look like she's like D tier sometimes. But I do feel like if she gets a little lucky / just if you happen to like win a couple 50s early, then honestly, you just like start snowballing and it's so hard to do much about it. She can pressure the map from like if she like holds a hatchet, she can basically like pressure anything that she can see, right? Which is crazy. And also like her hook protection is nuts. Like trying to unhook against a Huntress is a nightmare, bro. She can do it. Like she can do it so well. Her one main weakness, well, I guess she has two main weaknesses. First off, her mobility, right? Like if you get distance against her and you just hold that distance and make sure to put solid objects between you and her, it's really hard for her to like catch up and actually get to like a position where she's able to kill you, right? Like it's very, very hard. So distance, like she kind of loses the distance because you can pre-run her with like the lullaby and everything. And she also struggles in chase on certain maps, like certain tiles and certain setups are really bad for her in chase, and it really is map dependent. Like there's some maps where she can probably kill you pretty quickly, and there's other maps where it's just like a fucking nightmare to like actually try to kill any good player. So yeah, it's tough. I think the low mobility plus no stealth, like you literally can't stealth as Huntress. Like you kind of can, like you can make her undetectable, but even when she's undetectable, she still has a lullaby, right? So there's no way to make her actually 100% stealth. So yeah, I think the low mobility mixed with like the no chance for stealth does make it so like you can just pre-leave, you can play chases really safe, and it should be really hard to get anything going. I just think that if you do get something going, it's like I feel like she has like a similar chance as Wraith. I feel like, right? Like if you do start to get going, I feel like she has a pretty similar chance as Wraith, maybe even better chance of Wraith to actually like snowball off of, you know, what you get early game. So I think if I'm gonna put Wraith in B tier, I think I have to put Huntress, right? They're either both going C or they're both staying in B. I think I'm just gonna keep them B for now. We'll see. I might change it by the end, but we'll see. We'll see. Bubba's dog shit. He's going in C tier. I think he's even below Doctor. I mean, Bubba, realistically, like, if you know you're spacing well, it should be very, very hard to get a chainsaw with this killer. I feel like, especially with the new pallet density update, especially now that there's now that there's so many pallets, if you know what you're doing at pallets, it should be very, very hard for anything to get going as Bubba. So yeah, it's pretty unfortunate. Like at the end of the day, he like, you can try like flicks and shit with them, but at the end of the day, it's kind of hard to do much, especially considering now survivors, if they want to play safe, they could even just camp pallets too and just throw them. So your chainsaw becomes a lot harder to use, right? Like you can try things, but at the end of the day, it's the survivors are kind of in more control there, I think, than anything else. So yeah, I think he's C tier. I mean, he's obviously like the best camper in the game. Like if he does get somebody unhooked, like best of luck ever trying to unhook them. That's really all he does. Like he like has a slightly threatening one shot down and chase, kind of. That is kind of easy to play around. He has no mobility, like nothing else really going for him. It's just like a slightly threatening chainsaw and then the ability to camp hooks. So yeah, I feel like he's just like kind of low C tier. He can't really do much against good players, unfortunately. Like he just kind of gets looped. And again, with all the pallets, especially now that are on the map, it just makes it even harder on him. Especially considering the pallets on the map are also like decently safe a lot of the times too. So like he kind of gets cocked by it. So yeah, I mean, I think if they did Baps better, he honestly could be better, but I think right now he's just kind of like low C tier, so pretty unfortunate. Freddy, this might be a hot take. This might be a very, very hot take. This might be the hottest of hot takes. This could be an incredibly hot take, but maybe it's not. I think Freddy is actually low A tier. I think especially with the new palette update. I think killers that have like a little slowdown on their power like this, like someone who plays like basically normal 4.6 killer, but just slows the survivors down a little bit, it's so much harder to like play these palettes that are not that great, right? Like you can create hits a lot more often. And also he's kind of like Wraith, where like if you let Freddy get ahead of you, right? Like, he also has fake pallets too. That's a whole other thing. Like the snares are strong because the pallets are like a little bit weaker, right? And he can create hits on them more often. And fake pallets are also like pretty nuts. I think fake pallets might be bugged again, right? I could be wrong about this. The way fake pallets are supposed to work is that as a survivor, you're not supposed to see that it's a fake pallet until you're like within like 5 meters of it or something. But I think it might be bugged right now, and I think you might be able to see what pallets are fake and are real even from far away. I think that makes them actually weaker. Like that bug makes them a lot weaker. Because honestly, fake pallets are unironically really good when they're working. Because like I feel like unless you're like keeping track of every single pallet that's been thrown throughout the whole game, which is really hard, unless you're keeping like an insanely good track of every single pallet, you're probably bound to run to a fake pallet at least once or twice. You know what I mean? And honestly, even if you know where all the pallets are. There's still a lot of pallets that you could just use as like zoning, right? Dude, like playing like a 4-lane against this killer is a fucking nightmare, bro. Because he can like set up a pallet at both corners of the 4-lane, and then if you're ever running through the lane, he can like set up a pallet and then like detonate it as you're running up to it, and then you can't do anything. You just die. Like honestly, even just the zoning potential, even if you know it's there, is kind of nuts. So the pallets are solid. The snares are really good now too, and he has all this stuff in his kit where like if you're injured and you're trying to heal while you're asleep, then he gets like killer instinct on you, so he knows where you are, and then he can also teleport to you. Like he has all these things in his kit that like help him where like when he gets ahead, it's really easy to stay ahead, right? Like he has the mobility of teleporting, he has the killer instinct on people healing. Like if you let a good Freddy player get a lead, it's hard, bro. It is hard to pull that back. Like it's very, very hard. So honestly, I really do think Freddy is like, I think he'll be at the bottom of A tier, but I do feel like he is in A tier. Like I really do. I think he's in A tier. I think he's very, very solid. Pig's also better now. I think Pig's in B tier, bro. I would put Pig above, I wouldn't put him above Wraith, but I think I would put her above Huntress. Pig can create a lot of like, Pig actually creates a lot of like interesting 50-50 scenarios now. You know what I mean? Like a fun thing about Pig that I think a lot of people don't know, or maybe a lot of people do know. I don't know if people know by now or not. But if you're running like both the chase add-ons as Pig, where like but that like improve your dash or whatever, you can literally like, how do I explain this? Like if you're going from point A to point B, if you crouch and then insta dash, you go from point A to point B faster than you would if you just held W and then swung with a lunge. You know what I mean? It puts you in like a slight cooldown afterwards, right? So it's not like you want to do it for like mobility around the map. Like I don't think you'd get around the map faster doing that or whatever. But like, for instance, if someone has a window like 20 meters away or something, and you like just barely wouldn't make it by like holding W after them and swinging, if you crouch at like just the right moment and send your dash, you can actually get a hit where you otherwise normally wouldn't. It's actually kind of interesting. It's kind of neat. I kind of like it. On top of that, just her power already creates a lot of interesting scenarios on pallets, right? Like they're either like not thrown or even pre-thrown pallets. You can create a lot of like interesting 50-50 scenarios. And also, she has the best slowdown power in the whole game by miles. Like no one else is even close, bro. Like the way her bear traps work, which again, I'm probably saying stuff people already know, but I mean, if I'm making this a video, then I might as well explain it. But the way her bear traps work is that she has 4 of them, right? And between all 4 of the bear traps, they have to search boxes 12 times total between all 4, right? So like it's kind of random how it works. Like all 4 ones could have like 3 searches each, or you could have like a first try, a third try, and 2 fourth tries or whatever. But either way, if you put all 4 bear traps on everybody, as a team, they have to search 12 boxes, no matter what, to get them all off. And that's a lot of time. Like, between the distance of traveling from box to box, and then also just the time it takes to search the box, it's unironically like adding, like, probably, like, 2 more generators to the map almost. I guess it's like adding 2 more generators that can't be regressed, which, I mean, maybe it's a bad example because you can regress gens, but you know what I mean? It's a big stall. It's a lot of time. It takes a lot of time to do that, right? But again, her one main weakness, though, is that, like, even though she is, like, decent at creating, like, kind of 50-50 scenarios, I would argue Pig's 50-50s are, like, most of the time, it depends on the map, but on most maps, Pig's 50-50s are more, like, 40-60s or maybe 30-70s, you know what I mean? Which I might use that terminology a lot, but I don't really know how to explain it. Like some killers are able to create 50-50s where they are in a massive advantage of the 50-50, where it's like insane for the survivor has to like do something crazy to avoid it. And then there's other killers where it's like their 50-50s are like the survivor's at a huge advantage, and like you know, you might get them to fuck up, but they have a pretty good chance of not fucking up. Like that's kind of how Pig is. Like I feel like good survivors can probably like win 50s against her fairly often, but they are still technically 50s. And also that mixed with like the slowdown you get from the bear traps does make her like pretty well. So yeah, I think she's solid. I think she's a solid B tier. I think she's definitely better than the killers in C tier at least, but she's not like super great, right? She's just like somewhere in B tier, I think. Clown, I think Clown fucks, bro. I don't know if this might also be a hot take. I think Clown is A tier. I think Clown right now is still nuts, right? He's still, like, they didn't nerf his, like, haste at all, right? Like, I think this killer still runs around with, like, a permanent 15% haste. Like, it's fucking insane, bro. Like, he literally just spikes bottles at his feet and gets permanent, like, 15-50% haste or something, or probably even more with add-ons. It's insane. This killer is literally just like if you made a killer that just had Bloodlust 3 at all times. It's wild, bro. It's wild. Like, he gets around the map fast. He plays every single pallet, like, really, really well. Like, I mean, he can be beaten. Like, I feel like every killer in A tier are like the kind of killers like you can be beaten if you just play safe and then also like slam gens and you just like out efficiency them, you know? Like, you could definitely beat a Clown by doing that. But it's like, definitely your chases are going to be hard, and he's definitely going to get some hooks on you, right? Like he's going to get some hooks on you. You're definitely not going to like, you know, get out with like 2 hooks total or something. That's if the clown player is good anyway. Like that's not going to happen. Like he honestly is like fast as shit. And yeah, they also actually they actually buffed his purple bottles recently too. So his purple bottles are actually more useful now too, which actually makes him even stronger still. So yeah, he's honestly very solid. Clown like kind of fucks right now. I don't think he's quite good. I think he's actually above Freddy. I don't think he's good enough to be an A+ tier. But he's definitely an A tier. I think he's definitely a step. He's to me like clearly a step above the B killers, in my opinion. So yeah, I think he's just. I mean, there's not really much more to say about him. He's just a killer that's permanently like 50% haste. There's really not much more to say. That's all he is, and that's insane. So there you go. I guess you can also slow survivors down, but like, dude, 50% haste is fucking nuts. On top of the fact that you can get Bloodlust 2 on top of it, which like, bruh, whatever. He's just like speed the killer. He's insane, bro. He's so good. So yeah, A tier for him. Spirit is gonna be the first killer going to A+ tier. Spirit is like this A+ tier. This A+ tier is kind of weird. This is here because there's a lot of killers like Spirit that are like clearly a step down from the S killers, right? But also like significantly better than the A killers. And I feel like I need this A+ tier. Like Spirit, I've always viewed Spirit as kind of like a discount nurse. She's like Nurse from Temu, you know, like Wish.com nurse, I guess. I don't know. Like in the sense of like why they're strong, I should say. Like Nurse is strong because she has like they both have terrible mobility, right? But Nurse is strong because she's able to get downs quickly and consistently, right? Like a very good Nurse player, if she's within like 20 meters of you, you're dead within like 30 seconds, maybe like 40 seconds if you have like an exhaustion perk, right? Maybe in like maybe 40. But like that's like maximum. Like you're dead within a certain amount of time, right? Like there's really no way to avoid that. And that's like really good and consistent. Spirit's kind of like that too, but I feel like instead of it being like 30 seconds, it can sometimes be like a minute. You know what I mean? Which might not seem like that big of a deal, but like I think like if the average chase time is like 30 seconds and then this average chase time is like 45 seconds, that's still a huge difference. That's like a massive difference, honestly. So it's kind of like that with Spirit. It's weird. Like she does the same thing as Nurse, just like a little bit less efficiently, I guess, is basically how she works. And I guess she also kind of lacks the like mobility. Like I guess Nurse does technically have some mobility, right? Like she can blink through solid walls, right? Like she doesn't have to go around walls. Also on like maps with second floors, I mean Nurse is fucking absurd with mobility. Like Spirit doesn't get any of that either. So yeah, she's just like power-wise, I feel like she has the exact same kind of like strengths that Nurse has, but just like less of, you know, just the same thing, but less of. But again, still, for the record, even though it's less good than Nurse, it's still way better than like every other killer, right? Like she is like one of the most deadly killers in the game. Like a good Spirit player, if you go against a really good Spirit player, fucking best of luck, bro. Like you are not surviving long, honestly. Like you can try a couple little things to buy time. You can maybe win like a 50-50 on a pallet here and there, but like you're gonna die. Like you're gonna fucking die against a good Spirit. Like it's so hard to survive against a really good Spirit player. So yeah, she just gets kills. And at the end of the day, that's the most important thing, right? Like getting hits and downs fast is the #1 thing that killers need to do because that gets everybody off gens. Like everyone thinks like mobility. Everyone thinks that like, I feel like I hear people sometimes refer to killers as like having like map presence or map pressure. And people like equate that to like mobility a lot. But like having mobility doesn't really mean shit if you can't down people, right? And we're going to talk about that with a certain killer later. Anyway, but yeah, like mobility doesn't really mean shit if you can't get downs, but like getting downs very quickly is like better than mobility, right? Like you're forcing the survivors to have to move. You know what I mean? At that point. So yeah, Spirit's just good. She's like A+ tier, very solid killer. I mean, not much more to say. Legion. Okay, so the hot take that I avoided doing because of the add-on rules of this video, but the hot take that I was maybe gonna do was I was gonna say that if Legion ran Eerie Button every single game, I think Legion might unironically be B tier if they ran Eerie Button every game. Like I think Eerie Button Legion right now is actually kind of nuts, especially with the buff they got to their cooldown or whatever. Like it kind of fucks. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like Eerie Button Legion is actually kind of solid. Like you got to be real careful against it, and like it's really easy to fuck up against it. And then like Legion's also the kind of killer like Wraith, where if you get ahead, you can stay ahead really easily, right? But that being said, if you don't have Eerie Button, like the difference between this killer having Eerie Button is like he's like here with Eerie Button, he's like maybe here without Eerie Button, you know? Well, maybe here, but maybe here, honestly. Like it's like a big difference. There's a pretty big difference in my opinion. And if you guys don't know, Eerie Button is the add-on where like when you vault a pallet, it like breaks the pallet as Legion, right? But like that's kind of nuts right now with like everything else, with like him having like a faster cooldown and everything. So yeah, I don't know. It's kind of hard to put him in like an accurate spot I think I'm just gonna keep him like in the middle of C tier. He's weird because Legion's like one of the only killers in the game where, like, again, if you don't have Eerie button, right, then like he's one of the only killers in the game where they, I don't know, I'm gonna keep saying he. I'll just say let's pretend it's Frank, okay, because that's who I see. He's the only killer in the game that has to down you with like pure M1 chase, pure 4.6 M1 chase with nothing to help. Like even Ghostface can technically like crouch to make his hitbox smaller to try to mind game at loops or whatever, right? Like Legion has nothing to help in like a chase unless you have Eerie button, right? It's just pure M1 chase. And also, obviously, there's like the thing where like if you hit 4 people in a frenzy, then you can get a 5th down. But good survivors should never ever let that happen. Like it's pretty easy. If you're like an organized group of players, or even not even organized, if you're just 4 even 4 solo players that know what they're doing can easily do this. Like if the killer is like frenzying a bunch of people together, all that really has to happen is one of the first people that got hit who's in deep wound just has to jump and chase and body block for whoever the killer's still trying to go after, and you should be able to like very, very reliably never let the killer get a 4-man frenzy. Like that should never ever happen against good players ever. If it does, then that means that those survivors have fucked up to like monumental proportions. So yeah, no, he definitely shouldn't have that happen. He's basically just an M1 killer without Eerie button. It's kind of weird because Eerie button is here without Eerie button is here. So I think I'm just gonna put him. there. I think that's fine. I mean, he gets injuries for free, so like it's kind of nice, right? Getting injuries for free. He also gets information. But at the end of the day, a big thing about these C tier killers that you're gonna see a lot is like a lot of these C tier killers. It's gonna boil down to how long does it actually take for you to realistically get a down against a good player. And almost all these killers, the answer is gonna be a long fucking time. And I feel like no matter what, if that's the answer, you can't really move out of C tier. You know what I mean? Like if you can't create downs, you're never really able to create pressure, and you're never able to really like progress towards winning the game. So you just can't really be above C tier. So sorry, Legion, without Eerie button, that's just where you are. I mean, with Eerie button, I don't know. Again, you can move him around if you want, but I don't know. That's roughly where he is. Plague, I don't know if this is a hot take either or not, but I don't care. I'm putting Plague in B tier. I don't think Plague's that good either. I think Plague I think I'll put her at the top of B tier because of her add-ons. Like, I think Plague's Eerie add-ons are very, very solid, but for the record, I think even her Eerie add-ons don't make her, like, absurd. Like, I feel like with Eerie Seal, you get 99 gens to counter it somewhat. Black Incense is kind of nuts because, like, I mean, Black Incense is probably the crazier of the two because you don't even, like, know it's in play half the time, right? Unless you have, like, Distortion or something. It's hard to even know it's in play unless you just, like, suspect it. Unless you're like, wow, this Plague always knows where I am somehow. What the hell? Like, I feel like outside of her Eerie add-ons, like if she couldn't run Eerie add-ons, she's undeniable. I think without her Eerie add-ons, like ever, I think she's like honestly like down here even. She might even be below Wraith. But I think with her Eerie add-ons, she's like up here. I mean, all she really does is like she area controls really well, right? Because she can puke on gens and get injuries for free because of that or whatever, right? She gets injuries for free just in general between puking on gens and also puking on people. Her like powered up power of having corrupt puke is like solid, but even it's not like amazing, right? Like there's a lot of like tiles, like there's a lot of like pallets and like tiles where like even the corrupt puke is really hard to use because if you get stunned while in power, it knocks you out of power. So if you have one of those like weird loops that's like a kind of circular rock that's like really high up, it's so hard to play that because the survivor could just keep greeting it, and like every single time you make it to the pallet, it's like a 50-50 where if you get stunned and lose the 50, you get kicked out of power and your power's gone, and then you're back to a no power killer. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, like all you really have to do is survive like a couple killer powers against her, and then she basically becomes a no power killer. So it's kind of like, I don't know. I just think she's too reliant on winning like normal chases, right? Like if you're just really, like if the survivors are really, really good at playing like normal 4.6 chase, then this killer should be struggling a lot. Like you really shouldn't be able to make much happen with this killer, especially on most maps. Because I feel like this killer can do better on certain maps that have like disgusting gen setups, right? Like maybe if you're playing like Fallen Refuge and you're holding like that gen setup towards like the main building, you know, don't open dead inside door or whatever. Like maybe there she's like stronger than some other maps because that gen setup's disgusting. But I feel like on most maps that don't have like an absurd gen setup, she's honestly like kind of bad. Like I just don't think she does a whole lot. Like she's just like too loopable. Her power's like kind of good, but even it has like risks involved with it too, considering how much you have to give up in order to like get it, you know? Like you got to go out of your way to take a pull of corruption. You also need the survivors to cleanse to give you the pulls of corruption outside of the ones you start with. It's just like, I don't know. She just doesn't do a lot. She just doesn't do enough. And I think good safe survivor play should like reliably beat her most of the time. Like honestly, if it wasn't for the fact that her power has potential to do a decent bit, she would honestly probably go even like lower, probably like bottom of B tier. Because like I feel like the only thing that's keeping her like even somewhat high is the fact that her corrupt puke sometimes can like pop off and like get fast downs. And even then, it's like not that hard to deal with that anyway if you're like a good squad of people and you know what you're doing. You know what I mean? So I just don't think she's that good. I think she's like top of B. Ghostface is Honestly, Ghostface pains me, bro. It kind of like pains me to like tier Ghostface, because I think Ghostface is like, in my opinion, one of the best design killers in the game in terms of like being good at what he does. Like, he's like the perfect stealth killer to me. Like, again, okay, so I should explain. Good Ghostface play is basically like you stalk people to like 90 or 99% or whatever, and then leave them alone, right? And then they can never get rid of that stock, right? The only way to get rid of that stock is to either let the killer stalk you to full, or to like get hit by the killer. That's the only way to get rid of it. There's no way to like cleanse your stock, right? Once it's on you. So like good Ghostface play is like 99ing people and then like finding them later, and then like finding them later while stealth, right? Like sneaking up with them later, popping, and then popping it, and then insta downing them. Like, it's so, like, he's so good at doing what he does, which is like stealthing around and then taking advantage of like catching people out of position and then downing them. Like, it's so cool to see a killer like execute on that in such a like interesting way. But also I feel like it's it's just hard because so many of the maps are so open, and it's so easy to keep track of like where he is, and it's also so easy to like position safely. And also he has no threat outside of that. Like, outside of that stealth threat, he has no other threat. Like, he has like nothing in chase. Like, the only thing he has in chase is that he can crouch to make his like model a little bit smaller to maybe help him mind game like certain like medium-sized loops, I guess. But like outside of that, he has like nothing to help him in chase or really anywhere else. He doesn't have any mobility. He doesn't have any chase potential. The only thing he has going for him is that stealth. He does that one stealth thing pretty well, but like, it's just tough because I think the stealth thing he does well, it's like one of those things that does better against the worst survivors you go against, right? Like, as survivors get better at the game, the stealth thing starts working less and less. And I feel like especially on open maps, I feel like there's like nothing at all. Like, I think Ghostface on Larry's is actually like pretty solid. Right? Like, if you played him on only Larry's, or maybe even like Hawkins too. But I feel like the second you take him off those maps and put him on like outdoor maps, it's just like, it's so hard to actually stay stealthy, especially if you have like a full, like, again, he kind of also suffers from like the trapper thing, where like if you're playing against like an actual like competent team who's like communicating, like you can literally just have people like follow him around and keep track of him, right? So to make sure like he can't stealth or do anything, you know what I mean? Like, it's so hard to actually get away from the team and like lose them, right? And like, it's so hard to actually get back into stealth when survivors are like so willingly to play aggressive, right? And again, survivors can play aggressive against him because he has no anti-loop. Like, there's no fear. Like, survivors can like run up to him and break him out in their face and be like, what are you gonna do, chase me? Like, I'm just gonna loop you all day because you have no chase power. So like, yeah, because of that, it's very like Trapper-esque in that way, but I feel like he does at least have that one niche that he does kind of well, to the point where he's going to go in D tier, but he's at least go in the top of D tier, because he at least does his one niche like decently well. It's just that his one niche shouldn't do much against like good players is kind of the problem. So yeah, unfortunately. I love his design though. Like, for the record, I really, really do love his design, and it kind of pains me to put him in D tier. Like, I wish he was better, man. Like, I really do, but I don't know. It is what it is. Demo's an interesting one. I think Demo has like a good bit of power in his dash, but I feel like it's also weirdly I don't know. Demo's dash is weird. I feel like Demo's dash is like solid, right? Like, he can zone really well with it, but like crouch tech also exists. But okay, like his whole power is basically like a dash ability that's pretty decent, right? Like, he's able to like threaten with it and then put it away without almost any penalty. It's like a decent like straight line dash with like a decent hitbox that like, you know, can go like at least somewhat far. He's a very like basic dash killer, but I feel like his dash is good. It's really hard to decide exactly where to put him, because I do feel like demos can pop off sometimes, but I do feel like it's definitely easy to play safe against Demo. Like, if you wanted to play very safe against Demo, I think you definitely could do it easily, right? Especially on a lot of the maps that exist. I feel like he gotta go like C tier. I think I gotta put him like like high C. I'm debating on putting him in like low B, but I just don't. But like, if Pig is up here, man, maybe Pig's too high. I think I gotta put him in high C. Maybe low B though. I mean, he's better than Doctor, right? He's got to be a little bit. I think I'm gonna put him in low B. He's got to be better than these killers. Yeah, he's got to be better than these killers. You know what? Yeah, low B. I think low B is fine. Like, he does have some mobility. He does have some mobility in his kit, right? Which is good. His dash is, like, at least somewhat threatening, but that's really it. Like, kind of, like, situational mobility that requires, like, setup beforehand. That's kind of awkward. Somewhat okay chase ability, but not, like, insane. Like, he's pretty loopable, but he honestly, like, I feel like it kind of reminds me of Wraith a bit, where, like, he can sneak a couple hits on you and get some downs fast. And if he does, you're like, uh-oh, wait a minute, what's going on here, right? Like, I think he can do that probably easier than these killers. Like, I think these killers are not going to be able to sneak these, like, sneaky downs on you very easily. Whereas I think a really good demo player, I think might be able to get you with some, like, weird dashes that you might not expect. On top of the fact that he just, like, he can zone really well with his dash, too, right? Like, he can break and zone, like, pretty well with his dash, which helps him a lot, too. So, yeah, I think low B is probably fine for him. I think that's a good place for him to be. Oni is, okay. I remember recently I threw together a tier list, like very, very quickly, where I didn't think much about it. And I originally put Oni in A tier, and then by the end of it, I moved him to A+ tier. And I'm trying to decide whether I want to preemptively put him there. I think I might. I do feel like with the current killer, like for instance, like if I look at these two killers, like is Oni really on the same level as Clown and Freddy? Like no. He's definitely better than Clown and Freddy. But I feel like he's like not quite Spirit level either. He's like weird. Like I feel like it's like, I almost feel like I need like an A- tier to put him in or something. Well, I guess A- would be below A. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like he's almost like right in between these two tiers, but I think he's definitely more A+. Like, I think he's going to be at the bottom of A+. Like, realistically, I'm putting him here, but he's going to be more like down here by the end of the tier list, okay? Because Oni is weird. Like, especially with the new maps, there's definitely a lot of maps right now where he can basically like bloodlust the fuck out of the first hit and get a first hit almost guaranteed with a lot of the new maps. So it kind of depends on which map it is, right? But I do feel like Oni... It's hard because I think Oni realistically can be counterplayed by really good survivors if they just play really safe early game and just like run to like areas where they have like god pallets, like throw those god pallets, force him to be kicked, like pre-run him, you know what I mean, because of his terror radius or whatever. Like if you like pre-run him and then just run to like safe areas, you realistically can like not give him a hit ever. Like for instance, I know I'm recording this live on Twitch right now and I'm probably gonna upload this to YouTube, but literally just like an hour ago on this stream, I was win streaking, and I remember if you guys were here, we had that game against an Oni where he literally got no hits. Like we just pre-left every single time he came anywhere near us. We just played every single like god pallet, and we literally dealt our gens without him getting a single hit. Like that kind of stuff can happen against Oni, right? I mean that Oni kind of misplayed a bit. Don't get me wrong. Like that Oni didn't play well. Like he misplayed a lot, but still, like good players can starve you of hits for like a very, very long time. And honestly, like if the first hit comes in after like 1 or 2 gens pop, then it's kind of hard to like guarantee a win from that spot, right? Like at that point, you kind of like probably aren't going to 4K. And you basically need the survivors to mess up in order to 4K. But that being said, once Oni gets his power, he is fucking deadly, bro. I mean, I think Oni in power is the deadliest killer in all of DBD, right? Like, I mean, I always say this every time I talk about Oni, but like in theory, if Oni just spawned up in Blood Fury and never left it, he would be like S+++++++, right? Like it's insane. Like Oni in power is nuts. High mobility, one-shot downs, like no collision, like fucking 180 flicks, and also instant pallet breaking. Like it's crazy, bro. Oni in power is disgusting. So like if you let an Oni get going early, like if you fuck up at all early game and let him get going early, if the Oni player is good enough, you're just dead. Like you give a really good Oni player like power at 5 gens, you're 4K'd for sure. Like there's no world where you're not 4K'd. Like he will kill you. And that's the thing. Even if you give him his power late, like even if you pop 2 gens by the time he gets a hit, it still just takes like one fuck up. Like it takes like one mistake, like one like decent sized mistake, and he can snowball that even too. Like he's so snowbally, right? Because like once you get that first hit, you can get the blood from the hit to get your power. You can use your power to get it down. Once you get it down and put the person on hook, as long as you play smart around it, you can basically always make sure that you have more power, right? Like as long as you at no point let people like. If you like let them sneak in and get the unhook and then heal them up and then run away for free, then you're fucked. But as long as you're like playing around the hook and all the injured people, and as long as you're making sure that you have power more often, right? As long as you don't let them like get 4 people back to full health with no blood orbs in the map. As long as you don't allow that to happen, then you're always still in it because you're still getting your power back and you're still able to like make stuff happen. And he's such a deadly killer once he gets going, and I feel like he's got to be an A+ tier, bro. Like he's significantly better than I think these killers down here for sure. But I also feel like, again, he's weird because I feel like there's going to be games where he's like insane and there's going to be games where he feels kind of weak because of that like early game weakness. So I feel like it's like Spirit's definitely much better, right? Spirit's like consistently good. Like you're always going to get some like hits and downs and hooks and kills of Spirit. Whereas like with Oni, it's like if you have a really rough game, sometimes you'll get your first down right as like the 4th gen pops or something, and you're like, oh fuck, you know what I mean? Like it's weird. Like he's very like dynamic in terms of how he can do, but I feel like he definitely is very threatening and very, very good. And I mean, Yeah, I mean, I think the fact that you need to play perfectly against him or else you get 4K means he's got to be in like A+ tier. So yeah, he's definitely an A+ tier. Slinger is definitely an A tier. Slinger is very, very good. Slinger's a killer that I think has been underrated throughout the years of DVD, and I think people are finally coming around to it, which is kind of cool. I'm kind of glad because I feel like I've always put Slinger really high in tier lists. I remember there's always been a debate, and I feel like I still hear this debate of like who's better, Slinger or Huntress, and I feel like it's like I feel like this is almost like a litmus test for like how much experience somebody has in this game and how much they actually know about like high level play. Like I feel like if you want to know if somebody in this game is a good player, ask them who's better, Slinger or Huntress. If they answer Huntress, then you know that they're probably not a very good player. And if they answer Slinger, then you probably know they are a pretty good player, honestly. I know that sounds arrogant, but like, I fully believe that to be true. Because like, Slinger, his power is so much deadlier than Huntress. Like, Huntress has like, she creates a lot of like 50-50 scenarios where she's like threatening you from far and you gotta like juke her hatchet or whatever. And like, you know, maybe you gotta try to turn a corner and you're trying to like bait it or whatever. Like she creates like weird 50-50 scenarios a lot, but that's like basically it. You know what I mean? And like, as long as you're really good at like pre-running distance and also like playing safe tiles against her, she can't really do a whole lot. Slinger can literally kill you at almost any tile. Like, there's almost not a single tile in the entire game that's fully safe. Like, Shack with a generator in the middle of Shack is safe, but if the gen's not in the middle of Shack, even that's not fully safe. Like, you can go to the window, shoot them as they vault, and then, like, come around the corner and hit. That gets crazy. There's so few, like places in the game that are actually 100% fully safe against Slinger. He can kill you almost anywhere. I mean, that being said, there's certain areas where, like, you know, I said this earlier with, I think, I can't remember who it was I was talking about. I said this earlier with like, one of the killers where I was talking about 50-50s. I think it was Pig. Where I was talking about, like, 50-50s, how, like, you know, like 50-50 is a term that people use when it's like, oh, it's like a coin flip, right? Like, I'm trying to predict what you do, and you're trying to predict what I do, and, you know, we might both win, but it's like a 50-50, you know, who knows? But, like, there's some 50-50s that I think are more like 70-30s, you know what I mean? And I think that, like, I think with Slinger, that's kind of important, too. Like, there's some tiles where it's like, technically he could kill you there, but it, like, it's really hard to do and it's probably not worth going for. So like, that's still a weakness of his, right? Like, you probably don't want to play those areas. Like, you probably just want to kick those pallets and then find other areas. But that being said, there are a lot of areas where it's like 70-30 in his favor, you know? Like, there's a lot of pallets and there's a lot of like windows or tiles or whatever where a good Slinger is gonna fucking kill you. And there's like not much you can do. Like, you could just try to juke around and pray for the best, but like if he hits a shot, you're just dead. And it's like, you know, completely up to him, like hitting or missing. And yeah, he's just able to create downs so well, bro, that like, I do think like a really, really good, efficient team that's like slamming gens, dying in the right places, doing all the right things you have to do against a killer will beat a Slinger. But that's exactly how every other A-tier killer is too, right? But Slinger will still be able to get some shit going against that team, right? Like, against almost any team, if a Slinger player is playing well, he's going to get some shit going. He's going to get like a lot of downs and hooks, right? Whereas, like, again, the B-tier killers might just get completely fucking annihilated. Like, these killers are all prone to getting, like, completely destroyed. Like, they could pop off, but they're, like, much more likely to get completely destroyed. Whereas these killers, I think, even when you lose, you should still make something happen. Like, they're very, very solid in terms of just getting the downs. But yeah, I mean, still, though, Slinger is, like, low mobility. You know what I mean? He still has a lot of things that Huntress has, whereas like, low mobility, has to reload after every shot, yada, yada, yada. It's just... But, like, the actual, like, death potential there is crazy. Also, I didn't even talk about the fact that he gets a free injury, right? I mean, he basically gets one guaranteed free injury because if he just shoots you on the other side of a powder window and then lets you break free, it puts you into deep wounds, right? So it's almost like a more deadly Huntress that only has to hit one actual fatal shot because you get, like, the first shot gets them injured for free, and then you just have to hit one shot where you're able to have one. So it's like you just need to find one scenario that you're able to actually get the kill, and then you're done. So, like... Yeah, it's very, very... Like, Slinger's honestly very strong, and going against a good Slinger that knows what they're doing is fucking terrifying. And honestly, like, this is one of those killers where, like, I think there's a lot of killers in this tier list that, like, to be perfectly blunt, I don't run into, like, good Slinger players almost ever in public games. It's really interesting. Like, it's, like, not a very common thing. There's a lot of killers that are like that, too. I mean, I said the same thing about Wraith. Almost nobody who plays Wraith actually correctly. And same thing with Slinger. Like, I feel like most Slingers I run into are not that great at him. But I'm telling you, if you run into an actual good Slinger, you're going to fucking know it. Like, he is hard to deal with, bro. He is hard to deal with. He will just absolutely kill you. And there's, like, not much you can do. Like, his zoning is just nuts. His zoning is nuts. His ability to create damage is nuts. He's just good. He's just an A-tier killer. Anyway, I'm ranting too much. Time to move on. Pyramid Head. Pyramid Head is also A-tier, but honestly, I don't know if I've ever done this before in a tier list, but, you know, I've been changing my mind a lot about this lately. I think I'm actually going to put Pyramid Head below Slinger, which is really... I'm trying to debate if I even want to do this. I don't think I've ever done this. Pyramid Head typically has always been, like, towards the top of A tier to me, but I honestly don't think he's that, like, okay, they nerfed him a little bit by making him go 4.2 while having a sword in the ground, right? So if you guys, I should clarify, if you guys don't know, survivors go 4.0 when they're running. Most killers, like Pyramid Head without putting a sword in the ground, is 4.6, right? So normally it's like you have like 0.6 meters per second advantage over survivors, right? Old Pyramid Head used to go 4.4 with the sword in the ground, right? So he moved like Death Slinger normal speed with his sword in the ground. They changed that to 4.2, but also made him able to keep his sword in the ground for longer. So it's a little bit weird. Like his zoning is pretty disgusting. Like I would argue they kind of buffed his zoning, but they also kind of nerfed it at the same time. It's really odd. It's kind of hard to explain. But like you can keep your sword in the ground for longer because every second that your sword is in the ground is like a potential shockwave, right? So like the survivors have to constantly be like, oh god, is he gonna shockwave? Oh god, is he gonna shockwave? Oh god, is he gonna shockwave? They have to be like on constantly high alert of it. But I feel like, to me, I think it's an overall nerf because I think one of the strongest things about Pyramid Head was like the fact that like they had to be worrying about that, but then also you would catch up to them at the same time. Like they would be like juking around and being like, oh god, is he gonna shockwave? And while they were doing that, you would be still going like Slinger, Huntress speed, right? So like while they're juking around, you get right on top of them and then you just pull your sword on the ground and then you M1 them. You know what I mean? Now it's like, I feel like you can juke around a little bit more and you don't really like lose the distance quite as much as you used to, right? So I think like Pyramid Heads, I think now are much more reliant on actually hitting their shockwaves. Like I think before you got a lot more value out of like canceling your power and then just M1ing. Whereas now I feel like you really have to like send shockwaves more, and that's kind of gambly. You know what I mean? Like if you're actually sending your shockwaves, it's like maybe it lands, and if it does, awesome, huge value. But if it misses, then you go into like a little bit of a cooldown. The survivor gets some distance. You know, they can run away and like hold and then hold that distance. I feel like it's like this killer feels a lot more gambly now, where I feel like you really have to like send. I feel like you can't go for like safe zoning quite as often as you used to. You still can, right? You still can zone a lot. Because, like, you can, like, if someone's going towards a powder window, you can put your sword on the ground. They can't vault it, or else you shockwave them, right? So they have to, like, respect that. There's even some mind games that go into that, too, right? Like for instance, they could fake leaving the window and then get you to cancel your sword and then come back and vault it, right? Like, while you're in it. Like, there is little mind games there you can do, too. Like, there is, like, some things like that you can do in Chase that, like, do make this killer not necessarily free downs. Like, I would argue that Slinger actually gets much better downs than Pyramid Head, honestly. Like, I think Pyramid Head has more play around his power than Slinger does. But also it's so hard though, because in theory, if a Pyramid Head's just sending out shockwaves and landing them, like I mean, the shockwaves go through all walls, right? It's kind of like Nurse-esque, where it's like it almost ignores all laws of the game. I guess it doesn't ignore elevation, but outside of elevation, it ignores almost all laws of the game. So in theory, if he's just hitting every shockwave, then I mean, in theory, he's like S tier. You know what I mean? Like if every shockwave is happening to land, then you're like S tier. It's just a gamble though. Like realistically, you're probably not going to land every single one, and every single one that you miss just costs you so much. That like, yeah, he's still A tier. He's still really strong. And he's still better than Clown and Freddy for sure. But I think he's a little worse than Slinger. And I think you're relying a little bit too much on like gambly plays that get punished if you fuck up. And yeah, I just don't think, I think good survivors should be able to pretty like consistently beat Pyramid Head unless they just get really, really, really unlucky. So yeah, A tier it is. Possible hot take incoming, but I feel like this is also becoming less of a hot take all the time. Because I've been saying this for years, but I think Blight is better than Nurse. I think Blight is the best killer in the whole game. I think he is very top of S tier. I think he's fucking nuts. I feel like there are definitely certain maps in the game that I think Nurse is undeniably better. Like I think if you put Nurse on like Midwich, she's like the best killer in the game by miles. And I think even there's a lot of like small maps, right? Like I think maybe like Fallen Refuge, or even Fallen Refuge is actually pretty crazy for Blight, but I don't know. I think there's a lot of maps. There's definitely some maps where I think Nurse is better than Blight, but I think in general, Blight is a much better killer than Nurse. Blight is like, he's like not as deadly as Nurse, right? Like you can't quite get guaranteed. Like I said this earlier about Nurse. Like if you're getting chased by a good Nurse and she's like kind of close to you, you're dying within like 30 seconds. And there's almost like nothing you can do about that, right? Blight is less. There is stuff you can do about it, right? Like there's a lot of like 50-50s you can play. Like you can kind of like camp pallets back to back to get like guaranteed force kicks to like some extent. Like there is a little bit more you can do against Blight than Nurse. But that being said, really, really good Blights are really good at knowing like when to just zoning kick and then go after you in between pallets, or they're really good at knowing like what pallets that they can bump logic and outplay. And it's really, really hard to stay alive against a good Nurse. Like, or sorry, a good Blight. Like really, really good. Like if you ever watched like Momo doing his streaks, or I mean whatever, like if you ever watched like comp Blights even or whatever, like even like the best survivors in the world against the best Blight players, like the Blight players are usually able to get downs like pretty quickly, you know? On top of that, like crazy mobility, right? Flies around the map at like giga speed. Like Blight's so crazy because you can literally like down someone relatively quickly, put them on hook. You can go like almost the whole way across the map to like pressure gens and then still come back in time to like follow up on the unhook to get like the tunnel out, right? It's crazy. Like you just have so much like high mobility mixed with high lethality is just such an insane combo. And Blight just does both those things so well. And like, even though, again, Nurse's lethality is definitely better than Blight, I just think the mobility he has, like, makes up for it. Like, I feel like you could fuck up a little bit as Blight, and, like, you can, like, even have, like, a little bit of a long chase, and you can still be in it. Whereas, like, with Nurse, I feel like with Nurse, if you have, like, one long chase, like, you should just lose, because you're fully reliant on that chase, right? Like, you need to get the downs fast, because that's all you have going for you. Blight is just nuts, bro. I think he's the best killer in the game, I think. It's close. Don't get me wrong. I think these two are close. But I think Blight is better, and he's just insane. Like, there's not really much more to say about him. I mean, if you've ever seen Blight, I mean, you probably know, right? I mean, bad Blight players aren't that bad to play against, but if you go against a really, really good Blight that knows what they're doing, then, yeah, it's pretty disgusting. It's pretty disgusting, and it's very, very hard to do anything about it. So, yeah, I think Blight's at the top to me. Twins is a really weird killer. I mean, Twins is definitely going in A+ tier, right? But, like, where in A+ tier is weird, because I think Twins is probably the killer. She's probably the killer that gets countered the most by perks. Like if you think of a killer that just loses to perks or like gets hard countered by a perk, like for instance, like Spirit gets kind of countered by Iron Will, right? Like pretty hard, right? Like Iron Will sucks. And even like off the record sucks against Spirit. Twins is like Unbreakable, Tenacity, Boon Exponential, Power Struggle Flip-Flop combo. There's like even just like Circle of Healing and like a bunch of healing perks. Like healing perks and as well as like anti-slug perks. Like all of those perks, there's literally like a list of like 20 perks that hard counter Twins. Well, some of them counter harder than others, but there's a lot of perks like that just make her significantly weaker. So it's like weird to judge her. I feel like if those perks aren't in play, then I feel like she's actually like up here. Like above Oni, maybe above Spirit even. Maybe above Spirit, honestly. If those perks aren't in play, maybe she's even above Spirit, actually, honestly. But if those perks are in play, she's like, honestly, if they have a lot of those perks, like say you just happen to get unlucky and you went against a squad that was running like 2-3 Boon Exponentials and they also had like Power Circle Flip-Flop on everybody, this killer becomes like fucking C tier, bro. Like I don't know, it's so hard to do anything at that point. Like you're just fucked. I mean, that's not that common, but it's like it can happen. So like it's hard. Also, yeah, conviction being a thing too is also which is also pretty popular now. So like it's kind of hard to judge her. I think I'm just gonna put her on like the bottom of A+ because I think that's really the only fair way to put her. Like, assuming you don't have the perks that hard counter her, or even if you only have like 1 or 2, right? Even if they just have 1 or 2 of those perks, if they don't have like a bunch of them, right? If they just have like 1 or 2 unbreakables, that's not really enough. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like you need like a decent bit of them. Like if you only have like 1 or 2 of those perks, or if you have none of them, then she's incredibly strong. So I think I gotta put her up here. I mean, she's super snowbally, right? Like. I think most people know Twins, but just in case you don't, like, you know, she injures you. Victor is basically unavoidable damage, right? Like, I mean, if you're somebody watching this and you don't really know what makes Twins so crazy, like, Victor is basically completely unavoidable damage. He moves, like, fast as fuck. He jumps over pallets and windows. If a good Twins player is controlling Victor, they are gonna hit you, right? And if you're injured, they can hit you and down you and then keep going and go after your teammates, right? Which is where like the snowball comes in. If you're full health, then they latch on and then the killer basically becomes like a no power killer for like 30 seconds. So the fact that like once you start to get some injuries going and you can start snowballing by just downing people with Victor and getting a bunch of guaranteed hits all over the map, it's crazy. And it definitely has potential to snowball and be nuts. On top of like the macro thing of like, you know, like you can park Charlotte near like a gen setup and then send Victor away. And then at any point you can come back to Charlotte to like defend the gens, right? You have like a lot of like map presence in that way too that helps a little bit as well. So that mixed with like the strong chase from Victor means definitely high tier. Just still gets countered by perks a lot. So kind of hard to put in exactly the right spot, you know? Trickster. Trickster is going in like high B tier. Definitely like high B tier. Trickster, I think, is able to create downs like a lot better than most killers. Like Trickster realistically can get downs better and more reliably than like the majority of these. Trickster is kind of those killers that can be kind of map dependent too, though. Kind of like Huntress. Like depending on what maps you get, it can be weird. But Trickster's 4.6, so not really that much harm in terms of like mobility. Has to reload her power, has to reload his power kind of like Huntress though, which is kind of rough. And also, like, in order to get damage on a survivor, you have to land 8 daggers instead of, like, 1 from Huntress. But every dagger you land is like easier, right? Like you can pull up and throw like a lot quicker than every other killer. Like against good tricksters, what usually ends up happening is that like you land like a couple daggers here and there and then keep chasing, land a couple more daggers, and like over the course of like 30 seconds to 45 seconds or so, like you're gonna get hit and possibly down depending on where you are. But that being said, kind of like Huntress, there are certain areas of the map that are like stronger against this killer where you can buy like guaranteed time. It just kind of depends on where you are on the map and how you play it. But like he has similar counterplay as Huntress, but I would say just like less reliable. And I feel like as Trickster, I think you could much more reliably get the downs as opposed to someone like Huntress. And for the record, honestly, I love shouting this game route, so I'm going to go ahead and do it. I think I did this on my last tier list too, and I'm going to do it again. I think something that kind of opened my eyes to the strength of this killer, and I think other people I would like to see too, is watching Wasik, or Vocek, or however you're supposed to say his name. He's Polish, so I think you're supposed to say Vocek. But Wasik, or whatever you want to call him. I will link his stream even in this YouTube video, and in live if someone wants to shout him out. Feel free to. That motherfucker is nuts. Watching him play Trickster made me go, okay, wait a minute. I think this killer is actually pretty fucking good. Like that. Like if you get really good at this killer to the point where you're like really good Trickster players are like disgusting. They're like so like mechanical. It's like they land. It's like they pull up. They hit the exact perfect amount of daggers that they know they can, and then they put down. They never throw like too many, or they never like pull up their daggers too early. It's like everything they do is so like efficient and like. It's crazy to watch, bro. It's crazy to watch. I feel like Trickster players like that really show how this killer is honestly, watching like Wasik makes me want to put this killer in like A tier. And honestly, I'm kind of debating it. Like I really do feel like Freddy? Like if I'm putting Freddy in A tier, I think honestly, maybe Trickster does belong there. I think if you're really, really good with this killer, I still just feel like the problem is I think just it's like map dependent. I think is the problem. I think the only reason why I'm putting him in high B tier is just that I think he's map dependent. You know, there's certain maps where I think he just kind of gets dookied on a little bit more than others, and I think that kind of hurts him a little bit. You know, like if you're on a map that just has a lot of good tiles against him or whatever, then he can struggle a little bit more. So I think I got to keep him in B tier for that reason. So yeah, but he's really good, super deadly, much more reliably deadly than Huntress, but I would say less reliably deadly than Slinger. So between all the range killers, like these are like the three big, I think there's like the big three in terms of like range killers. I mean, maybe Unknown too, I don't know, but definitely like less deadly than Slinger, but more deadly than Huntress I think is like where he belongs. So yeah, I'd say like high B. Nemi's a weird one, man. I don't think Nemi's actually that good. Like the zombies are kind of like a weird RNG part of his kit, but like they're not really like, I don't know. Like they're like RNG. Like they sometimes get a lot of value. They sometimes get they sometimes get like a very little amount of value. His whip power is okay. To be perfectly real, if the survivors really know what they're doing, you can play like you can actually like bully the fuck out of a Nemi. As a matter of fact, I'm kind of debating putting him on C tier because of this. The more I'm thinking about this, like I was gonna put him in B tier, but the more I'm thinking about this, I'm gonna think about this out loud. I know that like if you're really good at the game and you're really like tryharding, like if there was like a $100,000 tournament where everyone was forced to play Nemesis. What you would see the survivors doing is they would probably pre-drop the fuck out of every single pallet and just try to deny tier 2 for as long as possible. Because you realistically can do that. You can like gig a pre-throw and just make sure you don't get hit by like a whip attack and keep them in tier 1 for a very, very long amount of time. And it almost becomes like a pseudo Oni kind of an early game. Like that's, you don't see it almost ever. Like you almost never see that happen. But if survivors do that, it's fucking disgusting. And it's like so hard to play around it. That being said, even if they don't do that, even if they just play normally and just like play around loops, they're still like, you're basically going for like strafe techs and trying to hit like funky tentacles and like, it's hard to reliably land them. And even if you are reliably landing them, you're still not getting downs like super fast. I feel like even if you're like super accurate with your tentacles and you're not missing very often, I still feel like this killer is like B tier max. But I feel like with that early game weakness, I feel like I maybe want to put him in C. But I think I'll just put him in low B. That's a toughie. I feel like that early game. I think that early game weakness almost makes you just want to say fuck it C tier. But like, because I mean, honestly, obviously you could like farm zombies for your power or whatever. But like that wastes so much time that like it's not even worth it. Oh, man, that's hard. I mean, look, I guess if I'm basing this off of survivors knowing what they're doing, right? Like, again, if I'm going to base, like, all these other killers, like, if I'm put Plague here and all that, I think I do. I think I maybe have to put this killer in C tier, honestly. Like, actually, unironically. I think pre-throwing against tier 1 is just so strong and survivors know what they're doing against it. And I think you could just literally starve him of power, like, so much that there's just, like, nothing you can do. You know what I mean? So, yeah, you know what? I think I'm putting him in top of C tier. That might be crazy. I think people might not like that too much, but that's where he's going, dude. Fuck it. Pinhead. I gotta fly through these, man. Pinhead's up next. B tier. He's definitely B tier. His power is like solid, right? He sends out his chains. It slows you down. You know, you can sometimes follow up with like an M1 like that or whatever. It's like kind of almost like a Freddy-esque power where you like slow people down on loops and try to hit them. That being said, if you path really, really well, you can kind of make it very, very difficult. Like it's very, very hard for Pinheads to make this work against survivors that are really, really good and know how to path against it. Like box logic and stuff is kind of cool too, right? The good Pinheads will spawn up and go right to the box and start a chain hunt, which is kind of cool, right? That helps you get your first down a little bit faster. But realistically, even then, like, it's kind of impossible to like keep up on box logic 24/7 unless you're like dominating chases. Like if you're like destroying chases, then you can do it. Otherwise, you're probably gonna be stuck in chase, and it's gonna be really hard to like keep up on constant box logic. So even that's not really like that's only a strength when the survivors are already not that good and you're like just destroying them in chase. But good survivors, you really shouldn't be destroying in chase that often. They should like good survivors will know how to position in a way that makes it really, really hard to like get reliable downs against them. On top of that, there's also like the teamwork aspect where like survivors can come in and like take hits for each other and also break chains for each other, which kind of is like a weakness there too that you'll see from like really, really good players. So I feel like Pinhead to me, oh, it's hard. Where in the like definitely less than Plague, less than Wraith, less than Pig, less than Huntress. Maybe? Probably more than Huntress. Maybe. I don't know. Actually, it's hard. This is, I think when you get into like these like mid B tier killers, it's like, I don't know what the fuck, the order of them is hard. Somewhere in here though. Like decent, like kind of okay anti-loot, but just not crazy. And then like the extra slowdown you get from the box is okay. And that's essentially it. It's just not that much, you know? Yeah, I think that's I'm fine with that placement. All right, Artist. This might be another hot take, but I don't care. I think Artist is A tier. I think people started shitting on Artist randomly. Like I remember, I used to always see. Okay, this is like a weird memory thing, but I used to see Artist in like the top 5 spot. I mean, this was a long time ago. This is before they released a lot of the strong killers. But I used to see Artist like above Oni and like really high up on tier lists a long time ago. And everybody used to like gas up Artist a lot. And I was always like, I don't know about that. But now I think it's like the opposite. I see people putting Artist in like fucking mid B tier and shit. And I'm like, whoa, I don't know about that either. Because like Artist is pretty fucking good, bro. Like she like first off, the ability to just put crows down on like pallets and completely shut those down, like same thing with windows and like forcing survivors to go to like other areas. Like the zoning potential of that is crazy. And then also like just like hitting someone with a bird and then following up the chase and like forcing them to either like vault a pallet or throw a pallet or whatever to not get rid of their swarm so that you can follow up with like follow up snipe birds. And you can even use those as zone too, right? You can set those up in a way where like to juke the bird, they have to like go edge map or something and that lets you like catch up. Like if you know what you're doing with Artists and you're like using your birds like tactically and smart in a way that like is pushing survivors into like bad areas and or just pushing them into like, guaranteed bird hits, this killer can create downs really well. And on top of that, has like some of the best area control, right? Like has really, really good area control. Like you put someone on a hook, you can send out birds to like gens. And even if the survivors like, for instance, even if the survivors have like a locker nearby where they can eat the birds, jump in a locker and jump out, that's still like in theory slowing down that gen, right? Like if a survivor's doing a gen at Shack or something and you're hitting them with birds nonstop while camping a hook, if they're like jumping in out of a locker like 5, 6, 7 times while doing that gen, congratulations, you just slowed that gen down by like what, like 15 seconds or something? That's a lot, bro. That's a lot. That's almost like a pain res activation. You know what I mean? Just from sending birds to the gen. You know what I mean? And that's like assuming that there's like a locker nearby. Otherwise, they have to like get off the gen and like crouch and try to avoid it or whatever. Like it's honestly pretty good. Like her harass is really good. Her unhook or her camping is insane. Like if you go down in basement against Artists, bro, best of luck. Like she'll set up a fucking army of birds at the top of the stairs and then you're all fucking dead. You know what I mean? So yeah, like hook camping is good. Her chase is good. Her ability to harass while camping is really good. Like she's just a very solid, strong killer. And I still can't believe people put her in B tier. It's so weird to me. She's very, very solid. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna get even crazy. I'm putting her above Slinger. Like I'm looking at these A tier killers and I'm wondering why the fuck I even have her in the middle, bro. She's like at the top of the normal A tier. She's not quite A plus, but to me, she's the top of the normal A tier at least. Like she's better than Slinger and Pyramid Head to me for sure. But not like, whoops. But she's not like as good as these guys, I don't think. Anyway, Onryo. Onryo is a weird one because I think Onryo actually has a lot of potential. Okay, Onryo I think is the killer that I can safely say I'm going to be the least accurate with. Because I think there's actually a lot of potential to get really good with her like manifest mind games. Like what I mean by that is like when you're like de-manifested, like when you're in like your stealth mode or whatever, you have like these long periods of time where you like go invisible and then come back to visible. And also you can like control that, right? Like based on like your hands or whatever. I think it was like bugged for a while. Maybe it still is. I don't know. I don't know the exact details, but I know that like if you're really good at Onryo, you can like know, you can pay attention to like when you're going, when you're coming in and out of like invisibility, and you can really do like crazy shit. Like I've seen clips of people that just do like crazy shit where like the survivor's sitting there looking at them, and then they're going one direction, and then they go into invisibility. And then they're like, and then they're like invisible for like 5 seconds, and then suddenly they just appear right on their face, and they're like demanifesting in their face, and they're like, "Whoa, what?" Like it's crazy sometimes the shit you can do if you get really good with it. I just don't know. Like the problem is I don't know like just how good that is because it's so fucking hard to do, and I don't know if I've ever seen anyone actually do it like super well to the point where like I don't really know how to judge it. You know what I mean? Like I think the way I see most Onryos play makes her seem like she's like C tier. You know what I mean? Like just kind of okay. Like some mind games with like the invisibility, right? Like using the invisibility some way. And for the record, I'm not referring to the thing. Like she also has this thing where like when you go from demanifested to manifested, right? It's like the equivalent of like uncloaking. Like if you uncloak with her like you would Wraith, there's like a period of like 3 or 4 seconds where you phase in and out and you're able to swing, right? That's not what I was talking about the first time, right? That's different because that's easy to do and it's not that hard. And I see people do that a lot, and that's like pretty strong. Don't get me wrong. I'm talking about like you're like basically the equivalent of being cloaked. You know, like you can't swing, but you like are invisible for a long time. It's bizarre, bro. It's very, very bizarre. I don't know. I feel like maybe if you get like super cracked at that, there's like some kind of world where I could see her maybe being like B tier, but I've never seen it. I would love to see it. I would love to like if someone does think that she is B tier because of that, I would love to like see more like videos and clips and things involving that because I would love to like learn that. From what I've seen, the idea of it is there, but I've just not ever actually seen it in practice. So I just don't really know how realistic it is. So I feel like to me, she's more like C tier. I think she's above Legion. Is she above Doctor? I think she's well, I mean, she also has pretty good like base kit slowdown too, right? Like just like teleporting around from like TV to TV or whatever and giving people condemned honestly is good slowdown. Like survivors really do have to deal with that, dude. Like if you let yourself get full condemned and die, the whole game might just like flip on its head immediately. So I do feel like that is like a decent slowdown on top of everything else. On top of like the invisibility mind games, on top of the fact that like she has mobility because of her TV teleports. I do feel like she has a bit going for her there. To the point where above Nemi, sure. Yeah. Well, yeah, I'll put her there. But you know, again, I think the order of these is whatever. Dredge, most overrated killer in the entire fucking game, bro. He's going in D tier. Below Ghostface even. I think this killer's fucking dookie, bro. I think this killer is honestly quite terrible. I will say, if you happen to play Midwich, if you're playing the map Midwich, then this killer is probably like right here, right? Only on Midwich. If you're on Midwich, he's like right here, but only on Midwich. If you're not on Midwich, then he's like down here. Like any other map, and he's like right here. This killer is not good. I don't know what the fuck is going on with the DBD community where I feel like every single tier list I see puts this killer in B tier. I swear everyone's fucking smoking. They're out of their goddamn minds. I don't know what it is. I see so many people calling this killer B tier. Bro, he is not. Like everyone's like, but OhTofu has mobility. He can teleport around the map. He can teleport to any locker and on the entire trial. It's crazy. But like, it doesn't matter because he cannot kill people. Like he cannot kill good survivors. Like you cannot do anything. Your power does nothing. There's like very specific loops where like if you're completely isolated and there's nothing around you and all there is edge map and like you can zone them and they're just completely stuck there and there's nowhere else they can go, then maybe his power does something and can get hits. But even then, the survivors can just choose not to go to those loops, right? Because most maps have like very few of those, right? Again, on a map like Midwich, his power can outplay every single pallet. But on like the vast majority of maps, his like anti-loop power just does fucking nothing. Like it does nothing. It's horrible. So he has mobility, but then he just gets looped all day, so it just doesn't matter. Like he's just bad. He's just really, really bad. Like realistically, against a good team, you just should not get downs as this killer very often. Like every hit and every down should take a fucking eternity. He's just not a very good killer, man. It's unfortunate because he is really mobile. I think the mobility feels nice. Okay, I should explain more why. You know what? I should go into detail more why. I keep losing the plot of what I'm doing. What happens is, basically what his anti-loop is he puts a remnant down, right? You hold M2 and you put like a little shadow down and you can move around, but you move around at like fucking sloth speed. You go like survivors move 4.0. I think you go 3.8 while you're holding the remnant. So the survivors are literally going faster than you, right?
So you can put down this remnant and you can move around, and then you can either let go and then swing, or you can press a button to teleport back to the remnant and then swing, right? Like that's the idea. So like the idea behind it is that you're playing like a loop and you put the remnant down in like a very strategic spot, and then you try to like force the survivor into the remnant so you can teleport back to it and then hit them or whatever. That's the idea behind it, right? But the problem is because you're so fucking slow while holding the remnant, the survivors just leave. They just walk away. Like the second you start to do that, they just walk away because you're so slow, and they get so much distance on you that they can just leave. Like it just doesn't do anything. Against good players, it just does nothing. Again, like against bad players, sure, bad players might fall for it, and I guess maybe that's why people consider him B tier, because maybe, I don't know, they're just going against like random people that don't know what they're doing. Then I guess maybe he looks decent. But like, I'm telling you, go against people that know what they're doing, and which is weird, honestly, which is weird too, because I feel like they could easily buff that. I'm a little confused why they don't. Like, I feel like if they made Wraith go like, or sorry, not Wraith, if they made Dredge go like 4.0 or even like 4.2 or something while holding Remnant, would he really be that OP? Like on like normal maps? I don't think, right? I think he'd probably be fine. Like he'd probably still wouldn't even be reliable hits. Like I think it would still be like 50-50s at best. You know what I mean? Like it's so weird that they don't do that. It's so odd. Like it's so weird. Anyway, as it is right now, though, this killer's fucking dog shit, bro. He's like easily one of the bottom 5 killers of the game. If I'm ever playing Survivor and it's a Dredge and it's not Midwich, I'm just like, oh joy, a 5-gen chase. I can't wait to have a 5-gen chase. It's just like, it's like free every time. Like this killer is just really bad, unfortunately. So, yeah, no, D tier it is for old Judgy boy. You hate to see it. Wesker is, what do I do with Wesker? What do I fucking do with Wesker? This might also be a hot take, because I've also seen people put him in B tier too. I think he's A tier. I think he's like close to clown. He's close to clown. I'm not really sure what to do with him. To me, he's like close to clown. Wesker is an interesting killer because he's always threatening in some way, right? Wesker's the kind of killer where like, I shouldn't say every pallet, but like almost every pallet in the game, there's something he could go for where he might get a hit on you, right? Again, it's not always a good idea to go for it. I think the big difference here is that it's kind of like Slinger in that way, where I feel like there's something he can go for on almost every pallet, but the difference is that Slinger has like not that bad of a cooldown, right? Like if Slinger fucks it up, he just reloads and then he's good to go. Wesker has to deal with like a fucking, like first off, Wesker will miss and fly across the map and then be in a terribly bad position, giving the survivor a good position, and you then put your power on cooldown for like 10 seconds or something. So it's like you get punished really bad for like going for things and missing it, which is kind of unfortunate. But I do feel like he is able to outplay a lot of things. And he also has like some really big snowball potentials too, right? Like throwing, like if you run like Jewel Beetle or whatever, if you like throw someone edge map, it'll like damage them, and then you also can like start moving early, and you could usually cut them off before they actually make it anything. So you can like very quickly 2-tap people if you get like a throw edge map, which is really, really strong. You can also slam survivors into other survivors, so things like body blocking are like less effective, especially around hooks. There's just a lot. He has a lot going for him that way. Plus just mobility. Like you can use his power just to get around the map faster too, which is kind of nice. So he's good. He's strong. He's like strong and he's threatening. And again, like he has potential to like, if you like just get good mind games and you're able to like get a lot of hits, like, okay, if you mind game and you happen to like win your 50s or whatever, you can get downs even against like the best players in the world if you just happen to like win your mind games. And if you do, you can find yourself in a position where you're like very, very far ahead and like maybe in like a perfectly winning position, right? Which is again kind of similar to like, I guess like Pyramid Head and maybe even like Slinger, right? Like it's kind of like right there with like these killers. But I just feel like it's not like as reliable as like some of the killers like up here, right? Like these killers just do it more reliably, you know, people like Spirit and people like, I mean, other people that are gonna be an A+ like Dracula, you know? So yeah, just strong, but not like strong to be A+. Just pretty good all around. Like good solid chase, a little bit risky, but good solid chase, good snowball potential. Has a little bit of built-in slowdown too, because they have to spray themselves. That's kind of another thing I forgot, but it has a little bit of built-in slowdown, which is kind of nice too. So that's like a nice little, like, it's not a lot, but it's a little bit. It also gives you some tracking whenever they do it too, which is kind of nice. So yeah, I mean, solid, like very, very solid. I would say like decent killer. I hope Pixie isn't watching because Knight is C tier. This killer is not that good. This killer is like has potential for like certain things. Like I feel like honestly the biggest potential that I think Knight has, like I personally think like the biggest like skill ceiling of Knight is literally like, it sounds dumb, but I think the biggest skill ceiling of Knight is how they play around like carnifexing pallets. Cause like, okay, let me explain this. The way Knight works is you set up guards, right? You stop in place and you set like a path for a guard. And then the guard pops up, and if the survivor is within the range of that guard, the guard starts chasing them for like a set amount of time. And then like, that's it. And like, either A, you like follow up with that guard to try to like pincer attack the survivor and get a hit, which is what you probably should do, right? That's kind of like what ideal night play is you like put a guard on somebody and then you like let the guard chase them from one direction and then you go the other direction and you try to like pincer attack them so they get hit no matter what. Like that's like proper night play basically, right? So that's like basically what Knight does, and in a way he gets like very guaranteed hits that way, right? Like he probably gets like more guaranteed hits than almost any killer in the entire game, but those hits take way too long. Because the problem is it's like you stand still to send out the guard, right? So when you start doing that, the survivor will just start holding W. Like they'll just start holding W to like the biggest open field they can. And then the Knight gets, and the guard starts chasing them, but then you have to just hold W after them and like try to take an angle on them. And like you're almost guaranteed to get a hit, but it's like, it sometimes takes like, I don't know, 30, 40 seconds sometimes to get the hit. And that's just for one hit, right? And then you got to do the same thing for the second hit. So like you get it down, but it takes you like a minute and a half, 2 minutes to get the down, and then bam, like almost all your gens are done, and then what? Then you're fucked, right? The only like one thing that I feel like makes it a little more reasonable is I think like you can use Carnifex. Carnifex is like the one guard that like breaks pallets quickly. You can kind of use him as like Spirit Fury in a bottle, I guess, where like if you're chasing someone and you think they're about to throw a pallet in your face, you can like preemptively send out the guard to insta break the pallet, and then they just get no distance, right? And even that though has a lot of counterplay because like the survivor should probably play patient around it. But like I've even seen some cold mind games from people like Pixie where they'll like fake doing it, right? Like they'll like fake Carnifexing and then insta cancel it so that the survivor greeds it, and then they just like follow up at M1. Like I've seen some cold mind games like that too. But at the end of the day, even all those mind games I think are still subject to the survivor's misplaying. Like I think if the survivors know what they're doing against Knight, I think all of those are still pretty reliant on the survivor fucking up, right? Like it's not, I think it's very, very hard to like reliably make that work in a way that creates damage. Like most of your damage should be coming from putting a guard on someone and then pincer attacking. You know what I mean? And also, okay, I think one of the biggest misconceptions about Knight is that people, every time I put Knight in low tier, everybody's like, but he can chase two survivors at the same time. And like, while that's true, a guard getting put on a survivor without any intervention for the Knight, like if you just put a guard on a survivor and then let them completely alone, they should never, ever get damage on that survivor if the survivor knows what they're doing. Like never. There should be no scenario where that results in guaranteed damage. Like if the survivor knows how to like manipulate the guards and knows how to like play around them, that should never, ever, ever get damage for free. Like the survivor should only be getting hit if the Knight is actually following up with the guard and like pincer attacking you together. You know what I mean? And also vice versa, if the guard is chasing one of the person's teammates and you're chasing another survivor, that means you're chasing that survivor as a pure no chase killer, right? You're just guy with sword. That also should be very, very hard to get hits, right? I mean, like realistically, you could at least get hits there, like more so than the guard. But like that should be a very, very hard chase. So like, yeah, you could technically chase two people at the same time, but both those chases are terrible chases. So like, what the fuck does that do? Like, that doesn't really matter, you know? Like at the end of the day, the only way to actually get reliable damage is to like set up a guard on somebody, follow up that guard, and that just the whole process just takes so long that like I feel like to me a good Knight player should like reliably get like a few downs a game. Like every game you should reliably get like I don't know four hooks maybe at least, but that's like it. Like against a good squad you should get like a reliable 3 or 4 that should be very hard to avoid, and then beyond that everything else is just cooked. Like it should be hard to get anything else going beyond that. So yeah, just not a very good killer. So yeah, Skull Merchant is currently gutted. I don't know. There's not much to say. We all know the situation with Skull Merchant. They like nerf the fuck out of her while they're waiting for a way to rework her. She unfortunately right now just does like almost nothing. I guess she still has stealth on command by throwing a drone down or whatever, which is kind of nice on indoor maps or whatever. But like her power is basically non-existent. She barely gives you any hinder, even if you get scanned a bunch. Her drones only have 1 beam and are hard to use. She's just kind of dookie. She's pretty terrible. She's basically like glorified M1 killer with like extra steps. But some people think she's hot or something, so I guess maybe that bumps her up some tiers for people. They're like, oh my god, Skull Merchant awooga or whatever, you know, because people like to thirst over killers or whatever. So I guess she has that going for her, but that's basically it. She's pretty much terrible. There's not really much to say. I mean, they just nerfed her. She doesn't really do anything. She gets stealth on command and she just chases you around as a normal killer. That's all. Like no mobility, not really much else going for her, just kind of bad, you know? So yeah, I'm not gonna spend too much time on her. She's just kind of bad. Singularity is definitely A+ tier. This killer's kind of weird because he's a little bit map dependent, right? Like he doesn't have a lot of bad maps, but he definitely has some. Like maps like Hawkins, maps like Larry's are really bad for this killer. Or like Midwich, like indoor maps like that. Weirdly enough, RPD is actually not that bad. RPD is honestly not that bad because of the lobby, but like But like Hawkins and like Larry's and Midwich are a nightmare for this killer. And I'm sure there's probably some other maps that are a little bit harder that I'm just not thinking of. Well, actually, yeah, there's a lot of maps where like it's weird because like usually you put pods like high up so they can see it, right? Like Singularity is like the killer. You put pods up everywhere. You put like the goops on people's backs and then you teleport onto them or whatever. He's really good at like holding like areas. Like he's really good at like holding gen setups. And he's also really good at just like, I don't know, pressuring the entire map and teleporting around and being like really, really persistent and on top of people, right? He's really, really good at all that. But the pod placement stuff is really, really important. And some maps have like trees where like, it's weird. Some maps have trees where like the leaves aren't solid and you can like, even if they're like even if you're in like a pod and a survivor's behind leaves, it'll like get them anyway. And then there's some maps where like the leaves are like solid fucking walls. And it's like if there's even like one little twig or a leaf in between you and the survivor, it like doesn't count as you looking at them. And you're like, what? You know, so it's weird. Like the maps are odd. And some maps just like kind of suck for them. They don't suck, but they're not like as good. But other maps are really good for them. I think still though, in terms of like consistent results, I still think I got to put him above Oni. Like, I feel like as long as you're not getting like one of those like 3 maps that are really, really, really bad, like if you're not getting like Midwich or like Larry's or Hawkins or whatever, like I think as long as you're not on those maps, you should realistically be able to get more consistent results than Oni, I think, against really, really good players. So I think it's close though. It's close. I think Oni and Singu are really close, I'd say. But I think I'm going to put Singu above Oni by a little bit. His like area control is just nuts. Like if you're really, really good at like again, like what good Singularity players do when they like hold gen setups too is they'll put like 2 or 3 pods on every gen, right? Like if you ever watched like those horrible games of like Nightlight holding a 3 gen for like 50 fucking minutes or whatever the fuck, like it's crazy, bro. I love that. Like, by the way, this is like a whole tangent, but I love that Nightlight played against CM9's Skull Merchant. And it was like this big meme about how he would hold 3 gens of Skull Merchant for like 45 minutes. I love how that happened. And then Nightlight became him. Like, I swear, like, something happened, bro. Something, like, broke in him there. Because now Nightlight is, like, known for doing that in, like, competitive games. Where he'll, like, hold a 3 gen for, like, 45 minutes. And it's crazy, bro. Like they'll literally set up, like, 3 pods on the same generator. So you can't even, like, use one EMP. Like, you need, like, multiple EMPs to actually clear all the pods. It's, like, so crazy to deal with. It's so hard to actually, like, counteract it when the killer players really know what they're doing. On top of him just being, like, a very persistent, you know, killer in chase. So yeah, very, very high tier. Again, Singularity is one of those killers that I do gotta throw this in there though. Most Singularity players that you see just like randomly playing games are quite bad. So like, it is hard to like, it's one of those things where I feel like if you're basing this off of like your average experience, he might not seem that crazy, but yeah, he's really good when people know what they're doing. Xeno's a weird one because Xeno, I feel like snowballs really hard, like can snowball really hard. But I feel like people have mostly figured out how to play safe against this killer, right? Like you can play decently safe against this killer and kind of deny them hits. And I feel like this is also the kind of killer where like if you get ahead, like if you get ahead and you're able to set up like double turrets and shit, this killer can get like absolutely bullied. It's kind of weird though. This killer's weird because I think if you get off to an early start, then survivors don't really have time to set up turrets. And it's kind of like hard to do anything, right? If the killer gets ahead fast. But then also, I feel like if they do get ahead, you just get totally bullied. It's like a little weird. I'm thinking B tier, but I'm trying to decide where. Like this killer's got to be more threatening than like Pig, right? Like you also have a little bit of mobility and tracking with the tunnels, right? Like you can go into the tunnels and you go around like kind of quicker, kind of. But you can only pop out of like very designated areas, I guess. You also get like tracking from like the footprints of the people above you. So like you kind of have like some tracking and mobility in your kit, but at the end of the day, this killer is mostly just like their tail attack, right? That's most of like their ability. I feel like I'm gonna put them below Trickster, but above Plague, I think. Like I think Trickster's a little bit more reliably threatening than Xeno, but Xeno like definitely has potential to like, if you like win a couple 50s early game and like get like a down quickly, you can definitely put the survivors in like an oh fuck position for sure, you know? But I feel like you can say the same thing about like Trickster, you know? And maybe even Huntress to an extent, you know? So, like, I think this is probably where he belongs. But I think, realistically, it should not be that hard for survivors to, like, play really safe against you and make it hard to make that happen. Okay, another potential hot take. I think Chucky is A tier. I think Chucky is very solid. Chucky got nerfed a while back. Like, okay, Chucky on release used to dash at like fucking Mach speed, bro. Like he used to literally like dash like at the goddamn speed of sound, and it was like almost impossible to not like hit your power. And even if you did miss your power, he had like a fucking 10-second cooldown, so it didn't matter anyway. You just have your power back up like immediately. He was so dumb. Chucky on release was so dumb, and I think this is one of those killers that suffers from that like he suffers from that thing where I feel like nobody actually got super good at Chucky because they didn't have to, right? Like he was so busted on release that I feel like everybody just abused the super busted parts of his kit. And then when he got nerfed to actually reasonable levels, everybody was like, oh, this killer's terrible now. You can't do this like stuff that we used to do that was super free. But I feel like the actual Chucky players that stuck with him and like really learned how to use his kit, I think probably agree with me that he's A tier. Like I think if you're really good at him and you really know how to use his kit well, like between like faking your power by like, you know, starting the dash and making him go here or whatever, you know, to like fake the survivors out, really knowing how to abuse the like lack of collision during the dash. Also just utilizing like the stealth and the third personness that he has. Like he's also a third person camera, all that stuff. Yeah, he has a lot going for him, right? Like his weakness is that he's not very mobile, right? Like he's 4.4, he's slow. He has no real like mobility power other than like his dash that isn't really good mobility. So he's like kind of lacks mobility, but he is very deadly. He has stealth going for him, like way better stealth than like any of the other like high like lethality killers. And also like third person camera fucks, bro. Third person camera is nuts. I think a lot of people don't give enough credit to how strong having a third person camera is, but it is a big deal. So between all those things, he has a lot going for him, and a good Chucky should realistically be very hard to like take on a long chase. Like it's not impossible, right? Like again, I look like it's like I feel like Spirit's kind of like the benchmark, right? Like if it's like Spirit level hard, then you go up into A+ tier. It's not like Spirit level hard, but I would say it's like harder than Clown, right? Harder than Freddy, harder than Clown for sure. On top of like all the stealth he has and like all the other stuff he's got going for him, like he's definitely solid. I think above Wesker. I think I'd put him above Wesker. I don't think I'd put him above Pyramid Head. I think right about here, right? I think that looks about good for him. Like I don't think he's better than Artist Slinger. Yeah, I think that looks about right for him. I think that looks good. Unknown is oh. So okay, I should explain this to the people watching on YouTube that don't maybe like follow all this as much as I do. Unknown is an interesting killer because when he got released, people consider him to be really strong. But I think since then, he's kind of got figured out a lot to the point where like there's a meme even right now where people call him the Harmless. You'll hear that a lot. Where people call him the Harmless. Because like really, really good players have like figured out how to play against him really, really well to the point where like in like competitive DVD, for instance, like the main like hub of competitive DVD or whatever DVD league, apparently like their last like whole season of games where they played like I don't know probably 100+ games, he had the lowest kill rate out of every single killer in the entire thing. Apparently, like he was getting shit on quite a bit because like it's very unfortunate. Like the way his power works is that like you have this like projectile, right, that you like spit out, right. And the survivors can kind of like juke it a little bit, but it's like a little bit awkward, right? Like, but like the thing is that even if you land it, it gives them like this weakened effect, right? And then they break out of their weakened by looking at you, right? It takes them like, I don't know, like 10 seconds, I think, to break out of their weakened, right? And you basically need to follow up with another range attack within that 10 seconds, right? Or else it's all for nothing because if you don't follow up with like another hit, they cleanse their weakened and then you're right back at square one. It's like you never hit anything at all. So it's weird. His power is so like risky because it's like you need to follow up, otherwise it was all basically a waste of time. You know what I mean? And really good survivors have gotten really, really good at like playing safe and playing to not get like follow-up hit, right? Like sometimes you'll see survivors even like let themselves get hit by basic attacks just to not get hit by the power, right? Because if you hit them with the power, it like refreshes their weakened. But if you don't get hit by the power, then you can like break free from the weakened and be injured, which kind of puts you just it's like you just work super hard for one injury is what it ends up being. And even then, that's only sometimes. It's very odd. That being said, this killer is in an interesting spot though, because I do feel like if this killer gets ahead, this killer is like one of the most snowbally killers when he gets ahead. Like if you can like somehow get like a bunch of downs early game or whatever and kind of get ahead of people, he'll start like leaving like the hallucination clones everywhere. And if the survivors are constantly like getting like downed and hooked or whatever, then they're not gonna have time to like cleanse the hallucinations, right? So you'll have like teleports all over the map. And the teleports are also pretty good in chase, to be fair. I guess I didn't really talk much about that, but I mean those could be used in chase pretty well too, which is also like a decent strength of his. But like still, like if you get ahead between all the like mobility options you have and also just like the constant like pressure you can put everywhere, he can snowball really hard once he gets ahead. It's just getting ahead should be like really, really difficult against good players. So again, if this tier list is based around really, really, really good survivor players, he's got to go in like B tier. Like he's got to go like, like Wraith. I mean, like there's always like a killer where I'm like, they're probably close to this level. And I think Wraith is the killer where it's like, I feel like Wraith has like an equal amount of chance to snowball. But I think when Wraith gets ahead, he doesn't snowball as hard. So I think I'm going to put him at least above Wraith. You know, I'll put him above on. I think I'll put him above Plague even. I think that's a good spot for him. I think like right there, like high B. I think it's fine. All right, Vecna. Vecna is another killer where I feel like I could be wrong on this one. I said this one about Onryo where I'm like, I might be inaccurate about Onryo. I might be inaccurate about Lich too, but I'm pretty positive on it, right? So he has like 4 spells that he uses, right? The orb is basically just like a tracking spell. It doesn't really do much else. The fly, like fly has good mobility, but they kind of nerf the cooldown of fly to the point where I don't think you could ever realistically get damage with fly anymore. Like I think if a survivor knows what they're doing, they should be able to avoid it pretty much always, I think. So like that's not really a damage spell anymore as much as that's just like a mobility spell. So it's not super good. Mage Hand and Flight of the Damned are like your main like lethal spells. And those are like I feel like unless you're running the Eerie add-on, like the Eerie add-ons obviously changes power a lot. But if we're assuming that there's no Eerie add-ons, then like even then it's like rough. Like the skulls, like I know you can spawn them like right on people's faces or whatever, but most good players will like predict that and like pre-crouch a lot of the times. Like it's pretty easy to tell when a killer's gonna go for that, and you can just like pre-crouch it. Unless there's elevation. Elevation obviously makes him better. He's very map dependent. I think some maps he's pretty good on, right? Like Dead Dog Saloon and stuff, he can be very good because of all the elevation. But I would argue on most maps, it's pretty easy to like pre-crouch his skulls. Mage Hand can get like near guaranteed hits sometimes, but even then it's like you can play around that too by like pre-dropping pallets and then getting like pre-distance. So like there's just a lot of counterplay around his only 2 spells that he can use to like get damage. And you really need to like execute those really, really well. So I feel like if you're on a map that's he's particularly good on, I feel like he probably might be like high B tier, maybe even feel like low A tier. But I feel like on most maps that aren't like exceptionally good for him, like most maps that are just like average maps for him, I feel like he's like bottom B tier somewhere. Like he's got to be like, I think he's maybe better than Demo. Like he has got a little bit more potential than Demo, but like I think less than these guys. I think these guys are all more like consistently good. Like I just don't think he has that much going for him. I think people overrate. I think people overrate this killer a lot. I don't think he's really that good on the majority of maps. But again, he is. It's interesting though because he is like a big knowledge check. Like he is like one giant knowledge check. Like if you aren't very, very familiar with how all of his powers work, then like it does kind of get free hits. Like he is the kind of killer where like the survivors really have to know what they're doing, and if they don't, he's gonna look really, really strong. But when the survivors know what they're doing, you're gonna be like, oh god, wow, like you just can't do anything, huh? Like it's very polarizing based on the knowledge of the survivors. So yeah, I think low B tier feels correct to me. Yeah. Decent killer though. I mean, definitely has potential, just like the rest of the B tier killers. Dracula is very, very good. Now, I don't know where to put Dracula. Maybe above Spirit? I don't know. This is where it's close. Is Dracula above Spirit? Oh, God. I think he might be. Dracula's pretty fucking good, man. So Dracula is like, he's like Vecna on steroids. You know, Vecna has like 2-3 spells he uses or whatever. Dracula has 3 different forms that he goes into, right? And those all have like abilities, right? So he has like the vampire form, the dog form, and the bat form. Bat form is like really good mobility, right? It's kind of resembling of Spirit where you can't see survivors, but you can see their scratch marks, you can hear them and everything. So it's like very similar to Spirit, but it's very, very high mobility. You move something like 6.0 meters per second or something. It's like very fast. And you also have a teleport. They can go to like windows and pallets. So like very, very high mobility, which if you haven't noticed, very high mobility is usually the thing that killers don't have when they're really deadly, right? Killers like Spirit and Nurse and even like Chucky, right? Killers that are like super, or Slinger, like killers that are super deadly and chase typically don't have high mobility because that's like a very strong combo to have. I mean, Blight has it, which is why he's the #1 killer. This killer also has that, right? Like his lethality isn't quite the level of like Blight, which is why he's not S tier. And to be fair, his mobility isn't either. Like I guess both his mobility and his like lethality are slightly less, but still he does do both of those. Like bat mode is really good lethality. Dog mode, like the wolf mode, is really good. The survivors drop these like scent orbs that will give you haste, and you end up spending like 80% of the time that you're in wolf form being like Bloodlust 1, right? Like you're like almost like a perma Bloodlust 1 killer, and you have a third-person camera, so you can kind of like see over walls and around corners, and you have a double dash ability that you can use, kind of like similar to Wesker, where you can like dash and then double dash. Like wolf form is just really, really strong. And like a really good Dracula player that knows how to use wolf form well is fucking hard to loot, bro. Hard. Not impossible, but really, really hard. On top of that, vampire form is also nuts too, right? You're just normal 4.6, but then you have this like hellfire where you can like pull up like a power that zones kind of similar to like Slinger or Pyramid Head, where you can like shoot out pillars of flame that goes over medium objects. And that's really good too. Like he just has a lot in his kit where I feel like almost anywhere you are on the map, like almost no matter where you are on the map, one of his forms is going to have something that's like really strong to counterplay it. You know what I mean? On top of that, like the bat mode also is kind of a 50-50 of windows, right? Like if you're on bat and the survivor's at a window, you can kind of like back and forth the window. And if you reappear at the same side of the window as a survivor, if they're not like already vaulting, you can kill them too, which is a whole nother thing too. Like he just has so much in his kit that helps him kill people on top of being mobile. He's good, bro. Dracula is very, very strong. I think he's top of A+ tier. He's like just barely not strong enough to be considered like S tier in my opinion. Like he's just a little bit not quite there, but he is really good, bro. Very, very strong killer. Very, very hard to like do anything against a very good Dracula player. Houndmaster is okay. I've been playing a lot more Houndmaster lately, so I feel like I'm a little bit more qualified to talk about her now, I guess. I think really good Houndmaster play is like honestly kind of nuts too. She's like really, really good because she like basically the dog, like, okay, if you're playing a pallet, you like literally can't like pre-throw a pallet, right? Because she'll just send the dog over it, it'll insta grab you and get you, right? If the dog grabs you at any point, you're pretty much getting hit, essentially, right? And like the dog vaults pallets and windows really, really quickly. And what I've learned as I've played her more is that you can outplay almost any pallet or window without breaking it, right? Almost. I mean, there's obviously some exceptions always, but like almost any of them you could outplay, right? And what I've also learned about this is that like it's really important to like if the Houndmaster player is really good in terms of like forcing the survivor into a certain area, sending the dog, and then also while the dog's running, if the Houndmaster positions herself in like a really good spot before they go into the redirect, you can put the survivors in these weird positions where they're like, they either have to like juke the dog and then put themselves so far out of position that when you come back to the Houndmaster, you just have a free hit right in front of you, or they eat the dog and then you get the hit anyway, right? Like there's so many like situations where you can put the survivors in this like lose-lose situation where they just get hit no matter what. And I think if Houndmasters are really good at identifying those scenarios and go and like know how to go for them, she is nuts. On top of like the extra mobility she has, right? Of like being able to like send a search out and then fly across the map. Also, very underrated part of her kit is her tracking. Like the fact that you can send a dog out and then go into redirect and you get killer instinct within 10 meters. It's within 10 meters all around you. So a 20-meter circle, you get killer instinct. So like if you're trying to find people, for instance, right, you can just send dog out, go for the redirect. If there's no killer instinct, then there's nobody there. You know what I mean? Like she's very, very good at a lot of things. It's just she's also really hard. She's one of those killers where like there's so few people that I think are like really, really good at Houndmaster. So it's hard to really like. I think it's hard for people to see how good she is. But I think if you see a really good Houndmaster player, you're like, holy fuck, dude. Like, what in the world? You know, it's just so... On top of that, she has, like, no cooldown either. That's another thing, too. She has, like, no cooldown. So even if you mess up your power, you barely lose anything for it. Because, like, the power comes back up in, like, 4 seconds. It's crazy. Like, there's almost no cooldown to her power. So, yeah, she's just very, very good. She has a lot of potential for, like, killing people. Like, the fact that you almost never have to kick pallets and you could just kill people makes her, like, very on par with, like, Slinger in terms of, like, her ability to just kill people on the spot, right? Like, I would say even better than... She does it better than Slinger, for the record. It's like Slinger, but better. And she's also 4.6, and she also has mobility that she can get around, which means that she is like A+ tier. I think she's A+ tier. I think realistically, I think she's above Oni. I think she's a little bit above Oni. Like I think she realistically can create damage like very, very, very solidly. Like when they're good, it's fucking disgusting, bro. It is so hard to do anything about it. So I don't know. Very, very solid killer. Like just outside of like Singularity, Spirit, Dracula, in my opinion. I've definitely seen the light on this killer. I used to not believe this, for the record. I didn't believe this. For a long time, I used to see people put her here, and I was like, what are they talking about? But upon playing her more and like learning her more, she's fucking nuts, bro. She is so, so good. Like, this killer is very, very good when you know what you're doing. So yeah, just strong killer. Just dominates chase, has mobility, has tracking. Just extremely good killer. When she functions, when she's not bugged out anyway. Kaneki, the Ghoul. This killer has got to go... top of A+, I think. Okay, this killer currently has a bug that makes them... Okay, with the killer's current bug, this killer is like fucking S+ tier. But like, that's only because of a bug right now. Assuming the scamper hinder bug goes away and this killer is functioning as they should, I think top of A+. I think this killer is very threatening, has a lot of different like interesting things that you can do with them that make them deadly. But I think if the survivors know what they're doing... Okay, actually, you know what? Now that the pallet density update has came, I think I'm actually going to put them below Dracula, at least. Maybe even below Spirit. Because I do think that, like, the pallet density update hurt this killer a lot. So I think I'll drop them a little bit because of that. Because I do think this killer has a lot of like different techs that they can do, and also like any like long pallet, you have to be really careful about how you play it, because a good Kaneki can sometimes like catch you out of position and down you. Like really good Kaneki players are hard to play around, bro. You have to play in like such weird, interesting ways where you're like super careful about your positioning at all times. It's like very, very hard. Yeah, actually, I guess Spirit kind of got cucked by the pallet density update too. So I guess I should probably put him above her as well. I don't think Dracula did that much, to be honest with you. Anyway, yeah. But I feel like still like insane mobility though. Some of the best mobility in the game. Gets injuries for free, right? So like free injuries is always good, right? You only need one actual hit to get it down. Has like very, very good mobility. Has a lot of like tools in their kit to help them create downs, right? Like you can do the thing where you like vault pallets after people to like force a 50-50. Like things like Kidnap Tep exist that like help you do things there. There's so much about this killer that it's like hard to explain quickly. So I guess all I'm gonna say is that I'm working on a guide to counterplaying this killer. So if you want to learn all the different ways that this killer can kill you and how to avoid them, keep an eye on the YouTube for the guide, I guess, is all I can say. Unfortunately, I had to put a hold on it right now because the killer is super bugged, and I kind of can't even do it until the bugs are fixed, because I need to get footage of things, and the bugs are kind of keeping me from doing it, which kind of sucks. But I'm gonna make a guide on how to counterplay this killer soon, and when I do, that'll be a good source of like knowing all the different things this killer can do to kill you and how to avoid it. And you can see how fucking complicated it is to play against him. It's hard to play against him, but if you know what you're doing, it's really fun, and he's honestly not that crazy. Like he's good, but he's not like that crazy. Like he can snowball really hard when he gets ahead, but good survivors should be able to do pretty well against him in chase. So I think like high A plus tier, like right below Dracula, not quite S tier, but like pretty fucking high up there in the A tier for sure. Springtrap is I mean, Springtrap's like kind of unfortunate. Like I honestly think Springtrap's like actual just like hatchet ability is like pretty good, right? Like he doesn't slow down that much when he's holding it. Like his zoning is nuts. Like he holds the hatchet, he doesn't throw it down, like he doesn't slow down that much. He can put it away pretty quickly as well too. Like he zones super well with it. But the issue is that like even if you hit that hatchet, the hatchet then goes into the survivor for like 15 or 20 seconds or so, and then you have to recall. I don't think it's 15. It might be like 12 or 15 or something. And then you have to recall it, and then you have to hit another one, right? And outside of all of that, you're just a normal either 4.4 or 4.6 killer. I guess you have like the teleporting and the stealth or whatever, but even his teleporting and stealth is not that good, right? Like you got to go to a door, go in the door, come out another door, and it's like it takes a long time. And there's also a lot of tells on the survivor side too, right? Like they can see like the blinking of the door, they can hear the door opening up if they're close by. The stealth is really not that good, right? Or the mobility. They're both kind of like just meh. Like they're okay. Like they're above average, but they're not like great. So really like the main part of his kit is like the hatchet and his ability to kill people, which is solid, but I feel like it's solid in a way where like it's kind of slow, you know? It's kind of like, it kind of reminds me of like Doctor and Knight, but like much better, right? Like how they almost get like guaranteed downs, but it like takes a while. I feel like that's how Springtrap is to me. Like you can probably kill even like the best survivor in the game at some point, but it's like if you miss even one or two hatchets, like if they're able to juke or like, you know, make you fuck up even one or two hatchets, that ends up being like a minute long chase. And then it's like, it just takes so long. There's almost like no snowball potential in this killer, right? Like because your power goes, like every single time you throw your hatchet, you don't have it for like 8 to 10 to 12 seconds or whatever at a time. So it's like so hard to snowball because in between your hatchet throws, you're just a normal 4.6 killer. So there's like no snowball potential really. You know what I mean? It's kind of unfortunate. You just have like this like periodic little boost of strength and that's it. I feel like this killer is not that good, unfortunately. They're like weird because they're kind of like oppressively good individually in like individual moments in chase, but overall like they just aren't that good. I think I gotta put them in like, oh god, where do I think I put them below Wraith, dude. Actually, like I was looking at unknown. Like I mean, they're definitely in B tier. They're definitely in B tier for sure. I just don't know exactly where. It's so hard to judge this because I feel like they get guaranteed hits a little bit better than like these guys, but they have no snowball potential. Like I feel like there is like no world where Springtrap should be getting like a 4K against like a good squad. Like it should never really be happening, honestly. Like there's just like the snowball potential is just not there at all, really. Like the survivor's got to fuck up like a lot, I feel like. So like even if you like win some chases fast, I just don't really feel like you're able to do much with it. Where I feel like at least these characters, like if you're able to somehow win chases, like I think they're less likely to win chases fast. But if they do, they snowball with it really, really well. Whereas I feel like Springtrap just doesn't. So like, I don't know, man. I think I'll put him above Wraith. But I think above Wraith. That's it. I think that's all far he's going up. He's not that good. He's just unfortunately not that good. All right. Krasue is the last killer. So okay, I should make it clear that I'm recording this tier list after the second hotfix after the Krasue patch. Okay. I think Krasue in the PTB was S tier. Maybe she was like right here, but she was like either here or here in the PTB. Okay. And then she came to live, and for some reason in the PTB, everybody called her C tier because I don't know, people are dumb. But in the PTB, she was S tier already. People complained about her. She got buffed, and then on release, she was like in a tier of her own. She was like S++ tier. She was so fucking stupid on release. Like she was so busted. And then there was one hotfix that made her a little bit weaker. And even after that hotfix, she was still S tier. And now, finally, after this second hotfix where they reduced a bunch more stuff about her, she's finally, I think, either low S tier or like high A+ tier. Realistically, I think now that I've played against a lot of Krasues with like my win streak teams and also played as her a little bit after the updates, I think I can reliably put her in like A+ tier now. I don't think she's quite, honestly, I don't even know if I would put her above, like this is a little bit harder placement. I don't even know if I would put her above Dracula or Ghoul. I probably would, but I feel like she might go like even down here. Because I feel like what they did was they made it so that her like, okay, so just to explain what this killer does, because she's so new, she has a human form and a head form. The human form is just like normal chase, right? And she also like has this thing where she can like spit on you and make you like, I don't know, infected or whatever. And then when you get infected, she can go into head form where she like vaults like she can't break pallets, but she can vault every pallet window. And she has like this like dash attack that like can like kill you, but only if you're infected. It only kills you if you're infected. If you're not infected, it just gives you a slight bit of infection, right? And that's it. But also, while she's in head form, she's 4.8, right? So she's really fast. And she also has a really high third-person camera. So it's really nuts, on top of a dash attack. So the head form is nuts. Like, realistically speaking, if you're solo, like, if you're a solo survivor being chased by a good Krasue player, you're dead. Like, if you're infected, you're gonna die. It's like, maybe you can do some, like, risky plays that can buy you a little bit of time. Like, you can go for some, like you can play some 50s, but those 50s are, like, very low reliability 50s. Like, it's like minor chance of staying alive, right? Like realistically, she's gonna kill you, but team play comes through huge here. Because if you can send it, like if she infects somebody and then she goes head form, if a non-infected person can come in and body block the head, then it kind of puts the Krasue in a weird position where she either has to hit that person 3 times to infect them in head form, which takes a while, or she has to go back into body form to try to infect them. But if she goes back into body form, it like takes a little bit of time and the survivors can kind of like split up. And then she has to like basically completely bail from her chase to infect the other guy or go back to head form or whatever. It's like, it puts this weird dynamic on her where she kind of like, it's like hard for her to deal with it. And I feel like that's something I've noticed a lot from our win streaks. And I do think like really good, proper survivor play against her, honestly, I actually think it puts her like maybe even below Spirit, maybe right now. I think right now with her like reduced strength, with like the fact that people get cleansed from the hook off hook, and also her reduced strength. I think this is only when the survivors are like extremely good and like are like playing as a team absurdly well. I would argue against like 99% of players in like most lobbies, she's probably like up here still, honestly. Like I still think she's fucking nuts against like the vast majority of players. But I think people that really, really know what they're doing, I don't think she's like super crazy anymore. I do think they made her like, made her in a spot where like team play kind of hurts her a lot. But you have to have like absurd team play, I think. Let me think about this actually, because this is a pretty important placement. You know, it's hard to say. I will say I'm not super confident in this because I feel like I need to see like really good Krasue players against really good teams, but I would suspect it would be something around this. Like I think right around Spirit level, like maybe above or below Spirit. But I think like less good than Dracula. I think Dracula is more like aggressive and can just make things happen much better than Krasue, I think. Yeah, I think I'm gonna put Krasue like right there. I think I'm gonna put it like right there, like above Spirit. And there you go. And there you go. That's the tier list. Yeah. Let's take a second. Is there any last minute changes we need? Here? All right. So after final adjustments, this is the final tier list. I don't really have anything more to say. I just a couple of things that I think were just like slightly out of place, and then that's it. Oh, this is a YouTube video, right? I'll see you, YouTube. I'll take care of Slinger. Slinger.